Here on the twitch.tv/the Xisuma, also on TikTok at XisumaTT. And my friends, today Hermitcraft has been updated to 1.21.5. Although, as I say those words, I realise that technically it was yesterday that it was updated. And actually that's to be expected. My curiosity has gotten the better of me. Oh, look at that! Cactus flowers, brilliant. The farm works. I think I was AFK for like 90 minutes, so it might not be that good. Yeah, but I don't need a crazy amount of it, so it's not really too much of a big deal. Welcome to the peeps tuning in the chat. We got Winnie T4, Billman68, Callie, Estelian. Possibly false. Although, actually, probably not. Let's have a quick check. My first reaction was like, yeah, I think I got one. And then I thought about it for a second more, and then I was like, nah. No, I don't. I got a bit of a, you know, chesty voice or whatever. Like my voice hasn't been clearing very well the last half hour or so. So apologies for that. You'll hear some disgusting sounds from me. Yeah, I don't have Swift Sneak on either as it goes, but it slows you down. I could do with some myself. Has 1.21.5 changed the server much, says Jamie. Dude, it's like playing a whole new game. I feel like, you know, I've never played Minecraft. Oh my god, that changes everything. Not saving your boots. It's actually like, it's not got a lot of content spring to life. It's got nice things, but nothing that really shakes the game up, you know. I've gone and gathered some stuff so we can make some farms. Right now, though, I just wanted to come over here and clear some of this stuff out. Ready for sorting away again. As, yeah, it's gotten a bit of a mess. Dude, losing your gear is awful in this game. If it were up to me, we'd play with keep inventory on. But luckily for you, it's not up to me. You know, I just ain't got time for gearing up again. Okay, that's a box of things we want to hold on to and not sort away. This is a box of things that can be sorted away. X has probably been singing for the recording of his music. Why his voice can't go? Yes, because I'm very well known for singing on my own music, and of course when. You know, the last live stream we talked about music, all that, you know, bit where I said, "Oh my god, I'm going to be singing and record." Yes, that would be it. That would be it. The old singing that I do, me, Xisuma, the singer, on my own record. 3 piglets in a coat. Thank you for 23 months with the Prime, and the legendary James Drew 27, 101 months. Absolutely incredible. Appreciate you both. Thank you for supporting the channel. Yeah, the server with my friends has keep inventory. None of us want to be sad when we die and lose everything. Yeah, it's, you know what it's I think it's also a sign of things changing with games in general. I've noticed that lots of games are less about, like, punishing you for failure these days. When I was growing up, games were tough. Oh my god, I am old man gamer now. I am sitting on my, gaming chair on the porch. I'm rocking on my gaming chair on the porch, shouting through the window at the kids playing indoors because they don't play outside anymore. You kids these days, you don't know the value of dying. Back in my day, we had to start again from the beginning. Oh my god, too good, too good. Yo, Tails X Fries, thank you for the cheers and biddies. Xisuma, how you doing? This is before the Happy Ghast update, yes? Or is it with the Happy Ghast where the Elytra carrying becomes more finicky? Great question. Thank you for the cheers and biddies. I will answer shortly. I just want to make a quick note. Okay, just writing something down on my notepad. And now I'm clearing my throat. Sorry, you have to put up with that. And now I'm gonna drink some tea. Oh my gosh, I'm delaying the answer to this question. Very good, very good. No, this is Spring to Life. 1.21.5 is Spring to Life. The Elytra carrying, I think you're referring to using leashes with an Elytra to move mobs around. It doesn't become more finicky. They've made it clear that that is not intended behavior, because when you try to do it, it will snap the lead. I think that's a pretty good, solution. I don't think finagling with Elytras to move mobs was particularly great to begin with. And now I think they've given you a pretty reasonable and fun way of doing it with the Ghast, so that's great. Ah, I remember what this is for. I think that's good. I got no problems with that. But the whole breaking when you try and use it, that's to make it really clear it's unintended behavior. So they've both given us, you know, a solution when they're taking the thing out. They need to do that, I think, most of the time. I think there's been times in this game where they've addressed a problem but not put the solution in at the same time. So there's a good move. It's a good move. This right here, the stamps need to be separated, I think. I'll put that in this box, which is stuff for another day. Candles could probably do with not going through the sorter. I kind of wanted to move all these boxes away, and now I'm sort of realizing, quite a few of them. This is my old bundle backpack. I can keep that on me again because we're no longer in exile. That one can go through the sorter. These ones probably need to hold on to. Okay, you're for the sorter, you're not. That one can go in the sorter. Alright. Okay, that's pretty sweet. We're, you know, tidied up, as they say. As they say. Yo, chuffed to bits. Thank you for 3 months of the subscribe. I saw you on the server the other day, I believe. Same person, possibly. Thank you so much. Appreciate the subscription. Hope you're enjoying playing on Let's Play Minecraft together. Oh my god. That is some primo temperature tea right there. Yo, Tails X Fries in with some more. Cheers and biddies, same for the train. Do we have a... People, you have to tell me if we got a hype train running. I appreciate it. Thank you for the biddies. Do we have a hype train running? Maybe we did, and we don't anymore. I don't know. It's such a pain to keep track of. I did. Well, now you get a hype train on the screen, all right? That's how that works. That's how that works. Yo, so when it comes to doing stuff related to the new update, I'll probably do a pass with some leaf litter at some point around my base, but it kind of feels like a lot of that stuff is... Oh, I tell you what, we'll actually get to use it over here. We'll definitely use it over here. So I've been talking to Mr. Smallish Beans of the smaller bean variety. We're gonna let's have a look at this terrain a little bit more. We're gonna cut a river through this area. And I think what I want to do is level the terrain pretty hard. I think we're gonna start a river around here and just bring it around this edge that's already there. And bring it over to here. Because Mr. Beans needs some more space to build, and I don't actually have any plans for all of this over here, other than finishing off the decorating around Loglands and doing the islands off in the distance. This is one of the reasons I wanted to make a farm for some of the new 1.21.5 stuff, is so that we could do another one of those islands. But we'll start by laying out where this thing is going to go. Everstrew says, excuse me, actually missed my Butcher resub. Been looking forward to that. Everstrew here for 45 months. Monthly name Butcher time. Flies round so quick. Yes, it does. You get the emote, my friend. I'm just embracing it these days. I'm just like, yeah, I say stuff silly. You know, it's a feature, not a bug. My God, the amount of times I now open up my inventory and I'm like, where's my ender chest? And it's like, oh yeah, we got a bundle now. That's how that works. Yo, Chaotic 1988. Thank you for the Prime. 2 months of support right there. Very much appreciated. I hope you're enjoying the stream and having a great Wednesday. I had to think for a second. It is Wednesday, right? If it wasn't Wednesday, if it was Thursday, I'd be in trouble. But it's Wednesday, thank goodness. Mr. Beans says blooming. Yeah, I can't. My brain can't reconcile with calling him Joel. I feel like if I knew him IRL, I'd call him Joel. But then Smallish Beans, my brain's also throwing at me like Mr. Beans. It's just chaos, really. These whole naming schemes. Yeah, I like the idea that the river here can actually find... Oh my goodness me. What does that go to? I know what that is. I will have to clear that up and make that look a little less obvious. I just reminded myself of something else quite important about this project, right? It's also got to have a Loglands entrance at some point, like a proper Loglands entrance. Right, and I think as long as the water looks normal here, it'll be all right. Doesn't look normal there. So not only are we adding a river, at some point we want to make like an actual entrance from the surface to Loglands where you don't need to have wings. It's something, believe it or not, it doesn't have. Yeah, why doesn't it? It's because of that one little bit there. It doesn't want to come all the way across. Now will it? Yeah, now it does. Now it's like, oh, I'm cool with it now. Box for me. Could possibly do with a couple extra blocks down here just to give it like a little bit of a transition at the very least. Joel Beans, Jeans. Call him Lizzie's wife or Jimmy's husband. But now we're referring to other people whose names I don't like using because they're their IRL names, you know? Mr. Shadow Lady, that's pretty funny. I like that one. Hilma says, I'm fine, but a bit more sore from skiing this week. Oh, you've been skiing. Skiing is awesome. I love skiing. Yeah, I try to go skiing once a year, which is something not everyone gets to do in this life, and believe me, I absolutely adore it and appreciate being able to go skiing. It is getting more and more expensive. I mean, it feels like that's something I've heard say my whole life, and it's true because of inflation. Wow, let's talk economics. Oh my God, X, I came to watch you talk economic theory, please. So entertaining. In the economy, supposedly a little bit of inflation is good. The idea being that you want people to spend and create economic activity, and therefore, if you have a small amount of inflation every year, Callie, I like the emotes. Then people are encouraged to spend. So, easy example of this is if your money was going to be worth more in the future, you would be more likely to hold on to it, right? And not spend it in the economy. Now, there's another question to be asked: is that the best measure of everything? I don't know. Anyway. So a little bit of inflation means people are more likely to spend, because if they hold on to that money to save up for something, that thing will be more expensive later on, right? Why did we start talking about inflation? Oh gosh, wow, okay, I pressed the wrong button. Wow. I forgot why we started talking about inflation. Prices, skiing, yeah. So, like, when I was young and I went on my first skiing trips, I didn't pay for it with my own money. My parents took me. And back then, it was sort of like, you know, an expensive luxury, but one that you could possibly afford. if you were working class and you like saved up for it. That coexisted with people saying stuff always gets more expensive, right? But now it really is like we're seeing price jumps that are just mad, you know? They're ahead of inflation. Used to be able to go skiing for like well under $1,000. In fact, sometimes you could pick up like last minute deals and go for like a couple £100. You have to spend like at least $1,500, and that's changed like post-COVID. So you've seen this like big dramatic shift in pricing, which is kind of lame. Yeah, as for the river here, I guess it's going this way now, into this ravine, and around the corner here. I feel like I need to sort of step back and just take it in a little bit, make sure we get it looking good. Like this might be a little too close in that direction. You live in a region where you have lots of ski resorts and the prices are horrendous. Yeah, I imagine it's common across the board, right? There's probably not a lot of places you're getting bargains. Since the pandemic, a lot of business have been engaging in price gouging under the excuse of inflation. Yeah, that's been happening. If you live in a region with ski resorts, though, does it make it cheaper for you? Like, I imagine if it were like a drive away, and you had your own pairs of skis and you could buy like a lift pass for a day, I imagine it would be pretty awesome to have access to that. I want to get rid of this tree. You like watching while you get medical treatments done? It's a good distraction. I hope those go well. Happy to provide a distraction. You've been trying to get a carpet beetle off your very fluffy pillow since the minute the stream started. That's 17 minutes right there of beetle action. Wow, crazy. Yeah. Glad to be in Canada and be able to go skiing every weekend for under $100, but the slopes are not as good as in the Alps. Oh yeah, different places, different conditions, right? Like, the first ski trip that I went on, coming up to like 10 years ago, this is like the first trip that I've been on since I was a kid. I went skiing in what others would call horrendous conditions, yet because it was my first time skiing again, I absolutely loved it. And I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And yeah, despite the conditions being like pretty abysmal. At one point, I had to wring out my second pair of gloves in a toilet because the first pair got soaked as well as the second one. It was just like slushy rain, slushy snow, and like rain the whole weekend. And in fact, it wasn't a weekend. It was like a split week, little like 4-day thing, which is kind of unusual. But I had to work around some other things to go. Which is the YouTuber life. You're always making videos, there's always something going on. Whenever you get diamonds, you never get a shovel. Till today, I regretted that every time I ignored it. Though you died in a faraway cave and just deleted the world. Wow, okay. That sounds like a rage quit. Chromie, as a foreigner, you pay a lot. Like, you know, like I said earlier, you have to spend like $1,500 to go on a ski trip now. So you gotta save up your pennies and hope you get a good deal. Whoa! And don't fall in a hole. You've been skiing once. We have a bunch of resorts near us. Not like the Alps. It's America, you know. You had pneumonia and spent the rest of the time in a cabin. That'll do it for you, won't it? That'll turn you off. That's not a great first experience. But dude, if you got access to it, if anyone here like is near a ski area, and you could do it. I highly recommend giving it a try. Like, I think skiing's amazing. The thing that's really amazing about it for me is, like, the activity is really fun, but it's the environment, like, something about coming down the slopes and seeing the mountains move around you. I was listening to something the other day, or I was watching something, can't quite remember, and they just made mention of how, like, when you go up into the mountains, like, it's actually, like, really different, because when you're up there, all you do is see other mountains. I was like, yeah, I know what that's like, but, like, it's not something you, like, fully understand until you go up there yourself. Because it's easy to look at a mountain in the distance and just think you'll be up there, like, looking back. But actually, when you're up there, like, you tend to see tons of other mountains. You tend to be in, like, a big mountain range. And it's a really different, like, viewpoint. It's a really different point of view. And one that kind of comes to life when you're skiing, because then they slowly move around you. And that is the thing that I love. It's like you're whizzing down these slopes and enjoying the thrill of that, but also, like, Mother Nature and its beauty around you is just slowly moving. You get this, you know, like, mountains move, right? Like, over time, and I'm talking about probably tens of thousands of years. Maybe that's too small a number, but mountains move. We don't really see it from our time scale, but they move. And when you go down those slopes, you feel like you're seeing a little bit of that movement of the mountains, you know? Forest from the trees, says Noth. You can't see the forest from the trees. Yeah, you can't see the mountain from down here. You have to be up there. When you're up there, you just see the mountain differently, because it's all around you. It's not like this big thing up in the distance. It becomes like something you're immersed in. It's a good quote, actually. The forest. You can't see the forest from the trees. You did an ATV tour in Iceland just after it snowed. It felt like you was on top of the world. That sounds cool. Must be a nice feeling. You live near the Alps, so the view shouldn't really amaze me anymore, but being on top of one is still an amazing feeling. I don't know. I think you can be continuously amazed by Mother Nature. Not all of Mother Nature is particularly spectacular, and some of us live in, like, built-up areas, right? So when I you know, look around near me, there's greenery and stuff, but there's also a lot of buildings, and there's no mountains nearby. I've been watching Yellowstone season 5, and they're just showing off, like, the natural beauty of Montana, and it is just absolutely breathtaking. How incredible those landscapes are. I could see how you could just, like, be around that and also be in awe of it all the time. I think it's possible, but it depends, like, where specifically, I guess. Yeah, we're going to go around this bit here, around this curve. If you happen to be wondering. Just slowly plotting the course, essentially. While I do live in Iceland, the nature and the landscape still amaze me, says Karen Cake. That's awesome. Yeah, Iceland's got a lot of natural beauty, right? I think I'll probably join more from this angle here. So we'll go ahead and tuck it inwards. And link it up like that. Bam. Very nice. You fell 4 times today skiing, but you're fine. Yeah, you fall down, you get back up. That's part of the game. My last ski trip, I fell over once at the very beginning, and all I was doing was standing on my skis, and they must have not, like, clipped in properly or something like that. And, like, you know, I fell over from standing. I wasn't skiing, so I was like, all right, that doesn't count, you know. Of course it doesn't count. And then I get all the way to the very last day, and I have a collision with another skier. I think if I were being Frank, I would, you know, I would take responsibility. I think it was a weird one. It happened so fast, it's hard to say. But like, you know, we both sort of turned into each other, but I feel like I probably could have done better. So maybe it was my fault. Yeah, so I collided with another skier on the last day. That happened. But then a little later, I had another collision. Well, not a collision, sorry. I hit a bit of ice that I just could not deal with and went over. So I almost got through my first trip without coming off, but came off twice on the last day. So that's that. That's how that works. Yo, the Black Ranger PL coming in. C418 is the GOAT. How you doing? I agree, my dude. I'm doing all right. Thank you for 107 months. I appreciate that. Hope you're looking forward to today's stream. Yeah, love having some new C418 to listen to. It's been so long. It's been like, realistically, like 7 years, it feels like, since the last big record of theirs. So an absolutely welcomed return. And yeah, today's just been a pretty straightforward day. Just going through the routine, you know. Think I might take a day off Friday and go to the cinema. Watch this Warfare movie, which sounds like more of an experience than a movie, but you know, I like movies that are different, unusual, whatever. So figured I might give that one a go. This is like a very wide river, and I've got a feeling I might be like underselling it here, so I'm gonna make this first bit a lot wider. Just get the first bit right. Set the tone. ...2018, wasn't it, when Excursions was released? Yes, that's the record. That's the record. That was the last one. 2018. Do I have a bucket of water? Well, I'll have some in my under chest, that's for sure. I'll use an empty one. And you know what? Like it does look like the right height, but I think something we might do is like carve out lower down a little bit more. If I whiz back over here, you can see this bit's actually just flat. It's quite shallow as well. Where there's some other rivers that are artificial. False has been building the artificial rivers, right? Like, that's like a couple of blocks down. Yeah, okay. I wondered if False had done a thing with like more detail or whatever. Down here, there's a... Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there's way more shape over here. I'm not looking to do the whole, like, custom look like this. But more a sense of, like, I think it needs depth just so it feels a bit more natural. And then False also did this bit over here. We'll go look at that. Yo, ye old envelope! Thank you ever so much for 27 months. Fell for the derp and stayed for the sarcasm. Stay Truex. Appreciate you, my dude. Thank you for sticking around for so long. So here's when False went like real all out with the detail over here, right? I love the way it like, well, it fades into darkness, but actually it's like a cave back there, which is cool. So yeah, as we go around, we've got to keep that in mind. I think I'll end up, maybe doing a little bit of it now, actually. Yeah, we'll do a bit of it straight away. Watching Hermitcraft after years, I remember your friend had an SMP with the same Season 8 seed. Awesome. Yeah, some people play with the seeds. We always generally make the seeds known. And we kind of assumed like a lot of people would want to play along on the same seed. And then someone at some point did like a poll or something and we got some numerical data. And we found out that actually like not a lot of people do the whole like play along thing. Or at least not as many as we thought. But people do that. People do the whole, like, play on the same seed, which is cool. We like that. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. And it's just the same dealio except we're underwater. I've got the conduit effect, so something around here is making our life easier right now. Just thought I'd point that out. We could do the bone milling of the area down below after as well. That would probably help a lot. Let's look. But then you hit like this stone layer like we're doing right here. If we go lower, which I think I'll embrace. I'll just embrace it. We'll live with the stone layer down here. Minecraft is about making something yourself, having the same seed but also not sharing the experience doesn't make sense. Having the same seed but not sharing it. I'm not sure what you're getting at. I don't know quite what you mean by that. Like, we could keep the seed private if we wanted to, like, and just not share it with the audience. I don't know, like, what the pluses and minuses of doing that are. It's just, we kind of decided, or it just was so, that we shared it from the very beginning. And at one point in time, we wondered about doing something where no one knew the seed. So someone said, what about the audience? They're used to having the seed, right? We got some numerical data on that, and we found out that actually, like, not a lot of people, or at least not as many as we thought. Like, it wasn't as big a deal as we thought it was, you know? I reckon us hermits could, like, get away with a lot. I reckon we could just go season 11 with create mods, you know? Or, like, with this resource pack, or this thing, or that thing. I reckon we could do a lot, and people would be fine with it. I think people want to be entertained, and if there's stuff out there that we can use to have fun with, I reckon the audience would be cool with it. But there's always a lot of uncertainty, you know? If you do something drastically different, and the audience doesn't like it, you know, that could be bad for the season. So tend to stick quite rigidly to what we know works. And the seed is just an example of that, right? Like, not being entirely sure if this is, like, the right way to go about something or not. Right, we've got to remember to put in the water first before we go too far with the digging out of the water right there. Dev, welcome to the stream, my dude. Sorry, Chimera. Oh my god, it just... It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You still dream of the return of Creative Create? It could always be on the cards in the future. Looks like it gets really wide just here, which is okay actually. Like, probably good for a river to kind of ebb and flow a bit. You're down for the vanilla light mods. You're already doing it. Pushing the boundary is cool. Most people play with a few actual mods installed. Yeah, I imagine like there's a large amount of you that would like it. That's not a surprise. It's more just like I think there's a bit of a fear of, like, what if the overall audience rejects it, you know? Like, people are like, you know, I'm here for survival Minecraft. I don't want to see no create mod. Right? Well, led us guys to start Hermitcraft. Well, we didn't start it as a group, actually. It was started by another YouTuber who eventually left. So its origin story goes back 12 years now? Gosh, can't keep count. It's so long ago. Crazy. Can you look at Gem's part in the river? She did some interesting terrain change for the play with lighter and darker parts. Yeah, we'll go over in the direction of Gem, because she's got a base on the river. So this looks very natural river to me. And then here we get, I think this is one of False's rivers that's been put through the area. Then we get to Gem over here. And, okay, the patches of mud are definitely custom, right? Even some birch under here. That's kind of clever. just using the color, right? Not really thinking about the material, which is important, especially for something you view. Like you're probably not putting your eyes there. You're probably looking here, and everything below it just becomes like color. So you can use these kind of textures down here. It's very smart. But yeah, this darker thing, I think it's trying to show you where the current goes, like the current of the water. So it's like treaded a darker patch. That's really cool. I like that. Oh. False? I was in free cam. Hi.
I know. You've been up to some big business by the looks, though. I've come to see.
Yeah, I'm doing my own big business over here, I guess.
Oh, that's what we like to see on here.
Yeah? You're happy with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, more rivers.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I was a little concerned. Yeah. You might be, you might be like, why haven't you come to me? This is my thing, you know?
I mean, true. But also fair.
I just wanted to crack on and get it done, you know? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's pretty big business of you. I'll add a few of the drops of this river as well.
Oh, okay.
In my briefcase.
Yeah.
Just drip some in there.
Am I?
And therefore, it's allowed. You can build rivers.
Thanks.
As if you needed permission.
I know, but that's the false touch, is it?
That's a special river. Yeah,
just put the briefcase in the water and it's all sanctioned. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah, you can't quite see, but yeah, it's dripping.
There's a lot of water here. It's okay. I saw it drip.
You've also got some more fans over here by the looks.
Fans? Oh my god! I'm gonna let them hang out on that side of the river.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make your briefcase like drip on demand, or is it always doing that? No, it's always doing that, isn't it?
Got a hole in it, so the rivers leak out a little bit here and there.
The animation is so cool. It almost looks transparent. I love it.
So ideal. Thanks. I mean, it's real rivers, isn't it?
There's a real river in there. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. multiple rivers. I'm like the Mary Poppins of rivers.
How many rivers have you built? Because I was looking at them a moment ago.
You know what? I haven't actually counted. At least 5, probably.
5? It looks like way more than that. I guess where does a river start and end, right? And what if the river forks? And what if the river's a knife? So many questions.
I mean, it's all one big river.
True.
Technically.
This is very true.
Maybe. Anyway, I'll leave you to the big business.
Thank you. I'm glad I got you.
I'll be watching.
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
All right. Literally, just over my shoulder, make sure I'm rivering correctly.
Oh no! As long as you're rivering, you're rivering correctly.
All right. Thanks, False.
Bye.
Always good times on Hermitcraft, right? Yo, Bell and a T, thank you so much for 79 months. Appreciate your continued support, my dude. Welcome to another stream. Is C418 music copyright? I believe C418 holds the has like, you know, their music is like licensed, but they don't enforce. Oh my god, this is so annoying to talk about. Right, so like the way that copyright law works is like we're a bunch of laymen, and then a bunch of YouTubers making videos talk about it and make us feel like we know what's really going on, right? It's probably more complicated, more difficult than you realize. I happen to know a little bit about some of this stuff because I had to do a lot of research into it when I was setting up my record label a long time ago, right? And I actually remember I talked to Mumbo about it once. You remember he had the whole copy strike thing on his videos. Like, he got permission from the creator of that beat. The creator of that beat didn't clear the sample. So this stuff is all like messy and wait, did I? Never mind. It's all messy and awkward and yada yada yada. Now, when it comes to C418, like saying is their music copyright, like it's their music, they own the rights to it, right? I own the rights to my music. It's then like, what do you do with those rights? Is what we're asking. So C418 is basically not do, as far as I know, doesn't do anything. If you use their music, that's fine. If you use it in a monetary environment, that's cool. They own the rights to it. So if you all of a sudden started putting their music next to, let's say, just some unsavory content on YouTube or whatever, they would then have the right to come in and go, do you know what? I don't want you using my music next to this other stuff that you've got. And then they can enforce their you know, ownership of the music and get you to stop using it, right? Like, that's kind of how that stuff works. Now, because of these big record labels that are just sort of in the YouTube system trying to claim anything they can to make money, there's this sort of impression that the whole system's bad, and then I think it sort of distorts understanding why we have these systems to begin with. Chimera says, for C418, they have a personalized license. The TLDR, currently available, allows through Twitch streams. Minecraft playthrough is allowed. Non-Minecraft streams technically not allowed. You would need to get a license stated in their website. Oh, interesting. I think I got their permission directly, like a long time ago. I sent them an email just asking, and they were like, yeah, you can use it. But I'm pretty sure I've used their music in like non-Minecraft streams before, but maybe, I mean, maybe not, because when I do something non-Minecraft, it's usually a game with its own soundtrack, right? But I must have played, like, at least at some point in time, some sort of non-Minecraft game, maybe with their music. It's possible. It's definitely possible I've done that. Anyway, then it's up to them to go and enforce it. And if they didn't, you know, if they didn't want to, and they hadn't previously signed some sort of contract or licensed the music under a particular deal specifying where and where it can't be used, right? Like, then they have the rights to go and do that. Yo! Door Expert 1! Thank you for 5 months. I really want to make a joke about a door all of a sudden, but my brain is very slow these days. Thank you for your 5 months of support. I appreciate it, my dude. Thank you. This is quite recent, like a month ago or so. People were basically abusing it a bit too much. Oh, okay, interesting. So that's a recent development. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it depends in like what context they're using someone else's music, right? Like, if you started using their music as like a key part of like an advertising campaign and associating it with your brand, then that's a little different, isn't it? You know, so it's up to whoever owns the copyright to, you know, do what they see fit with it, really. I think the whole copyright claim system on YouTube is a little bit messy, and it's been misportrayed somewhat by you know, commentary videos and such. That river, you know what, I'll tell you, once we get the second bit in, I think the shape will probably be fine, plus trees and stuff around it. Yeah, this will be okay. We'll get there, The US legal system over copyright is based in defending it too, in order to maintain that they have to defend it. Is there anything specific y'all be using the river for? Like, for example, transporting items to each other's bases? No, we don't really use it for that stuff. I kind of wish we could find a way to do that. Like, if you had a season without elytras, they would just become more useful. But that's probably not something everyone's going to want to agree on, and like, it's kind of like a Minecraft problem. They put in a very overpowered way of getting around, and it sort of downplays some of their other modes of transport as a result, right? I think what might help here is just creating a different shape so that it doesn't all follow the river so closely. Might even just leave that pool of water there as well. Using this word, stream to sleep and support the community. What does that mean, sleep and support the community? What about songs sang in streams? Is there copyright for those too? Yeah, this is where copyright law gets more and more tricky and messy. Because covering, I think in theory, should be protected, but tends to not be respected that much. Like, parody is another one. But it's been a while since I brushed up on that stuff. I just know... I understand that the problem with what happened with Mumbo very well. And from my own experience, I kind of understand how the whole copyright claim system gets a bit over dramatized, I think, but there is a problem with it. And it tends to be, you've got all these companies like just trying to squeeze as many claims left, right, and center as they can, and it creates a lot of like false positives, that kind of thing. You know, they'll put a claim on a video before checking to see if that person has a license or whatever, right? Happy gas might be more common to use even though they're not speedy. Yeah, this is one of those things where we see the happy ghast and people are like, oh my god, we can use it to get around the server, and I'm thinking, but the elytra is way faster, and that's why we use the elytra, right? So I think it'll be fun to fly around the happy ghast for a little bit, and then there'll come a point in time where it's like you just grab your wings and go, you know? Tends to be how it goes, path of least resistance and all that. So here, the river is obviously too narrow. So we're going to go widen it up a little bit. And that is probably really going to limit this existing like mounds that we had here. It's going to reduce it a fair bit. Wait, someone's sleeping? Someone's got the bed. Someone's got the bed. Thank you, Xisuma. Thank you. Hi X, what FOV you use? Did you change it recently? In your old videos it looked like you had lower than now. 90. I have mine set at 90. Yeah, I think I'll widen it up a bit at some point. Funnily enough, playthroughs of games are not really fair use. Technically break copyright of the people who make the games, but almost every company just allows it. Yes, yeah, that's because they probably realised that having those playthroughs out there is good for their game. But yeah, I think you're right. Oh, what's this going to do when it goes down? Well, it goes straight into a pocket, which is good. Because, you know, some of the areas have been lit up for mob farms. I don't think this area was lit up for a mob farm, but you know. Whenever the water leaks down into a cave, it's like, uh-oh. All my torches. Are they important? I think I got away with one there, though. FOV was always 80. Was that mine? I can't remember. I just changed it at some point. It's a bit extremely grey on the copyright side of stuff, so it heavily depends on the judge. It's a mess. I think if the game publisher is like, you know, we'll let you do this, there you go. Fair enough. If they don't want it, same thing really. Like, that's the law. If we want to discuss changing laws, we can do that as well. But like, I think what annoys me most around this stuff is just when like complaints are being made because of the way the law is, as if it like the law's being abused when it's not. Which happens with a lot of those copyright story stuff, right? You know, YouTubers making a video about getting copyright claims and stuff, and it's like, but what they did wasn't legal, right? Doesn't mean it's morally wrong or it should be different or anything like that. It's at the end of the day, we have laws for a reason, and we should probably, you know, respect them where we can, instead of just complaining when the law doesn't like go your way, I guess. You're loving the Xisuma Says playlist as a podcast when you're trying to sleep, and it usually works for me. I don't get this whole using stuff to go to sleep. Like, if you like it, that's awesome. when I go to sleep, I'm trying to wind my brain down as much as possible and get like all of that noise and entertainment and excitement and whatever it is, stimulation. I'm trying to get that. I tend to find what helps me fall asleep the best is just thinking of being out in nature, like imagining a beautiful like landscape and then picturing myself just like in a tent or something, looking out, like safe and warm, but in in Mother Nature's environment, because you know our houses, our towns, our cities, they make us a lot safer than Mother Nature is. So I love that idea of just like being, I don't know, under some trees somewhere with like beautiful scenery, and you know it's nighttime and just falling asleep. You're in the safety of your own bed, but like you're imagining all of that, and I find that to be really calming. Someone made a video about you called Learn It From a Hermit, where they talk about all the things every hermit teaches them about Minecraft. Thought it was pretty cool. That does sound pretty cool. Hey, if you know that video, tweet it at me. Wouldn't mind checking that out. Sounds like an interesting concept. Your ADHD doesn't let you sleep in silence. You need background noise, says Godreads. Well, two things there. One, have you tried something like a drone? Because I put drones on in the background. That's like an ambient level of noise that pacifies other sounds. But like the thing about ADHD is like that's the problem that I'm getting at, right? Is that like good sleep and stuff comes from a calmed mind, and ADHD is like not being able to be calm a lot, right? It's like saying I can't meditate because I got ADHD. It's like we'll both meditate for the same reason. You're just doing it on hard mode, and like it should still be like a goal to achieve if you want to achieve it. If you don't want to make changes or try something different and see if it works, that's fine. But like, all of the research and whatnot that I've done into like sleep science and best practices and that, they all seem to suggest like de-exciting your body, getting your mind and your body like calm. You know, it's hard to sleep if you've just done a run and then you're putting on like loud music and stuff, right? Whereas if you've just done some stretching and you're slowing down, you know, just having a bit of rest, and then you turn down the lights and you know there's no sounds to distract you or anything like that's like gonna push you in the direction of being able to fall asleep easier, right? Like calming everything down. You play a background on YouTube with cave, campfire, and rain outside. ADHD here too. Yeah, those sounds are like emulating Mother Nature, right? There's a theory that the sound of a campfire is like deeply embedded in our evolution from like so many, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years of man creating a fire to provide warmth and protection from the elements, keep the animals away. You know, falling asleep next to the campfire is quite possibly like a deep psychological instinct or something. You're autistic and you can't fall asleep, since I always end up in rabbit holes on my hyperfixations and completely forget what time it is. Again, I feel like it's like the autistic, the ADHD thing. Like these are things that are like extremified for individuals, but I think are maybe a bit more relatable to all of us, because I've had moments of being hyperfixated on stuff. It's more common with like a stressful event or something that's happened, and then I become acutely aware of like, this is why I can't get to sleep, because my mind is absolutely buzzing about this one thing right now. But when you become aware of that, like you then understand that's the thing that you're working against, right? So I had this thing that happened a couple of years ago. I had a day out that was absolutely amazing, and I was absolutely buzzing. And on the way home, I was given control over the not the radio, but the sound system. So I put on like all of my favorite songs, right? And I was just absolutely buzzing the whole way home. And then when we got home late, I kind of realized, oh yeah, it's time to go to bed now. And like once I got in bed and laid there, like my brain was just spinning so fast. I could not stop thinking about the day we'd had, and like I was so hyped up and excited. I did not sleep the whole night. Like literally, I must have got 1 hour shut eye tops, and I just could not turn my brain off. Anyway, I'm sure some of y'all are just maybe just expressing like saying what works for you or doesn't. I get a little concerned with the whole like I have this therefore that. The idea that you know you can tell yourself something and then make it so. Whereas I think like some of those experiences are actually quite a lot more relatable than you might think. That's why I say I have a wind down routine, right? Like I can't. It's not great for me to just be doing something all the way to the end of the day and then go to bed, because my brain will be in that mode of thinking about that thing that I'm doing. You need a little bit of time to like step back from that and let go of it, and that's like, it's not particularly easy, but it's something you practice at doing. You do the thing, and the first time you do it, it's probably not going to be very effective, but the point is you keep doing it, and eventually you figure out how to like get into that rhythm and wind down and go to sleep easier. The programmer's bane, going to sleep and suddenly realizing how to fix that pesky bug in your code, says Chimera. Yeah, the same thing happens if you're a creative, right? Like I will, you know, have moments where I'm like, oh my god, that's such a great idea, let me write that thing down. Or anything that we're all into. It's like, what is your mind fixated on? That's why, you know, being able to wind down and let go of whatever it is you've been programming, get it out of your head. Tell yourself it's fine, it doesn't matter. If you go to bed, like, thinking about it constantly, that's the stuff that keeps you up. W1, hey Sir X, just wanted to say I love X, and I'm currently binge watching your Hermitcraft episodes, and nostalgia bits are so good. I literally shed tears for the good old days. Thank you for the adventures, man. Love you. Sorry I can't support anything other than watching. Dude, that is more than enough. That message is wonderful to read. I thank you for sharing it. And thanks for watching, my dude. We got Badger Spanner coming in for 74 months of the Prime. I Am Modesty is here for 22 months. God's Read, 33 months, 9 minutes ago. I'm sorry, I've been distracted with the waffling. Missed a couple there, but thank you so much. Black Ranger PL says, I admire how good you are at managing your life from exercise and diet and good routine practices. Amazing stuff. Thank you, my dude. I'll say it's just something I've like never let go of, right? So it's almost like second nature for me now to have this day where I'm like, you know, like I believe we're creatures of habit and routine, and in realizing that if you look at your own habits and routines and stuff and just try and keep working in those good ideas into them, they eventually become like second nature, and then it all sort of becomes normal, right? So like, I appreciate what you're saying, absolutely, and it's something I've definitely worked for, but like the sometimes the fruits of your labor are just like, they become the norm eventually, right? Like I think if anyone wants to go in a better direction with this stuff, you know, it's not about turning over the tables and becoming someone different overnight. It's just about like latching onto your own rhythms, your own grooves, and just finding little things to tweak here and there. And then you keep at it. You don't have to expend a crazy amount of willpower, right? Because you're only doing little bits here and there, but you stick with it, and then they become the norm, and then you build a little bit more on top of them. And you know, it's like compound interest, you know? You're just trying to make those smart decisions, and then they kind of like add up over time, essentially. The main reason I watch your streams is your waffles, says Noff. Oh, thank you, my dude. I really like waffling, but I feel like I'm also at a point where I'm trying to like consume less of what's going on in the world, and so I feel like I just prattle on about the same old things over and over again a lot of the time. Like, I tell you what I learned about what's going on in the world today on TikTok. I mean, it feels like every time I learn about what's going on TikTok, it's all bad news. But I learned about this thing called skinny talk. And whew, does this seem toxic, right? Has anyone out there been exposed to hashtag skinny talk? It is like TikToks of people... the description I really like that I heard of it is as if they're sort of taking these negative impulses we have inside ourselves, things that we say to ourselves that aren't that kind, when we're reflecting on, you know, our own physique perhaps, and then amplifying them. Looks like, well, one person got flashbacks, that's unfortunate, but it looks like most of you haven't been exposed. Dangerous trends, says Chimera. It does appear to be a dangerous trend. Badger says it's a Thinspo pro anorexia stuff. Yeah, it's not good stuff at all, is it? They're like Ed coaches. Do you mean TED? I wouldn't say they're like TED coaches. The common signs of like bad information are telling you something like really directly as if they're the authority, as opposed to like empowering you with knowledge. ED is eating disorder. Got ya. Yes, they are. Okay, definitely like some of the things they're saying are going to lead to eating disorders. I can see that happening. It just shocks me time and time again, the internet. What have we done with these algorithms? We've created such bad incentives for people to make bad content, you know, because it's about the engagement. It's not about the quality of the thing. It's just about getting your attention. And guess what? Negativity, very powerful for getting your attention. These are just some of the ways in which that then goes and manifests, right? Chimera says, uninstall TikTok, don't touch Instagram, got rid of my Twitter, just use B-Sky, avoid anything too social. Internet scares me a bit. Yeah, I'm in this little tug and pull with like, because I do this, I'm an online creator. Oh, I've got to be on this platform, I've got to be on that one, right? But I am, as an individual, I am so disconnected. As an individual, I'm only like watching YouTube stuff. Like I just would, if I didn't have to do this, like as part of my job, I don't think I'd even touch Blue Sky. Blue Sky to me is just Twitter again. I not like what I've seen on there. However, my algorithm's changed. I don't know what changed it, but I went from getting all these political hot takes of people saying mean stuff to people who probably aren't even reading their tweets. And then all of a sudden it just started throwing cartoons at me. Like one day I went on there and since then it's just been nothing but cartoons, like anime artists, and I don't really even like care much for that or like pay attention to it, but it just decided to throw that at me. So whenever I open up Blue Sky to send out a tweet, I just get like a wall of anime stuff, and it's like, okay, we're doing this now, are we? Anyway, for anyone out there who has seen Skinny Talk, you know, and I just hope I can offer some words of advice, because when I see stuff like that, and being someone who has a voice online, it just makes me want to speak to people who have perhaps ended up on the wrong side of that equation. But when it comes to this, like, you know, weight loss, you want to change something about yourself, like, don't listen to these horrible messages where someone is being authoritative and telling you what to do from a place of negativity. That is just unhealthy in so many different ways. If you really want to make a difference, what you need is like knowledge of how putting on weight or losing weight works, and then going on a long journey, because there are no shortcuts, and you don't want to do anything extreme. And these people are promoting really extreme stuff, you know? Badger, thanks for tuning in. See you later. Expand that from eating anything. Don't listen to authorized advice coming from negativity, period. Yeah, it seems so. To me, it's just the authority. It's like when the messaging is like trying to tell you an answer, right? And picture this, you know, you're a stranger to the creator when you're on TikTok. Okay, yeah, they've got the answer. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. That's not good information. You know, you need to understand the mechanics of your body and how your body works, etc. to take well-informed action if you want to make a change or something. Thoughts on Ozempic? I mean, that's a weight loss drug, right? So I think when it comes to weight loss drugs, there's going to be a small part of the population. And when I say small, I've heard stuff in the past. When it comes to, like, genetics to do with weight loss, it really is supposedly a really small portion of people that this stuff affects. And I get a little bit disappointed sometimes when I think a lot more people think they are like a genetic outlier than they really are. If you're a genetic outlier, you're playing the game in hard mode. But you might not be playing in hard mode. You just got the wrong idea, right? That's what concerns me with that. And then, so, you know, some people will genuinely need some form of medication to help them with certain things. And then there'll be other people who maybe didn't really need that. And I think in general, doing things the natural way is slower, it's harder, but it's also the right way to do it. I think if you're gonna mess around with drugs and stuff, you're talking about introducing things that aren't naturally available into your body, and that can have side effects. Maybe some of those side effects are mild. Maybe some of them haven't been discovered yet because it takes a long time for them to show up, but I feel like you're really like rolling the dice, and you're also taking a shortcut, you know. If you want to make a change in your life with your physique or whatever, like, there's a lot that you can get from doing that you can't get in a drug. A drug can give you an end result maybe, but there's a lot you can learn from being dedicated to bettering yourself. And, you know, it can translate from something physical to something mental. There's a lot of advantages to doing something the hard way sometimes. Isn't it originally a diabetes drug? And docs are saying it takes away the wrong thing, lessening muscle mass. Yeah, I've heard, yeah, see, I'm not really, like, in the know on this one, but I remember hearing things like that in the past. You know, the keto diet. A lot of talk about, like, miracle weight loss, but one of the first things that happens with the keto diet is you shed a lot of water weight. So people see this initial result and don't understand that their body is, like, just dumped a load of water and is in a more dehydrated state, which is, you know, a curious thing. I don't know quite what the ins and outs of that are. This might be a huge stretch, but have the similarities between content creators and cult leaders ever been studied? After all, both are parasocial figures who rely on echo chambers, either physical or digital, to alienate you from the rest of society. Of course, most content creators don't do that consciously, but the algorithm does it for them anyway. I might be talking crazy there. No, I think you're bang on the money. I think I might have even heard of someone writing a book or sort of examining that crossover at some point in time. But no doubt about it, there is definitely crossover there. Definitely. Yo, Joe, thank you for the raid, my dude. How you doing? I didn't see you on Hermitcraft today. Were you doing arts and crafts? Appreciate you coming in with the raid, my dude. Looking forward to playing with you again here on Hermitcraft. Gotta run. Have a great stream. No problem, man. I understand. Go do what you gotta do. Ovamp Bratch, thank you for the Prime subscription. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. People got used to consuming online content like editorialized content when it is nothing more than someone screaming on something in the corner of the street, says the Black Ranger PL. Yes, this has been a thing of mine lately, is noticing it with like a lot of content that I watch myself, right? First of all, like a good place to start if you want to critique things in the world is with yourself. I have been consuming stuff like that, and then I've become aware of it. I at some point it just, you know, we're having a breakdown of institutional trust in journalism, and we're replacing it with, you know, people's hot takes, unresearched hot takes. And it just made me like look at some of the stuff I consume, and then I kind of realized like, oh yeah, like there's people that I like pay attention to that sound great when they talk, but like they're not journalists, and I'm not sure they tell me a lot about where they get their information from. And that's not to say that we discredit them for that, but like it's important to be aware of it. That's why we had these institutions to begin with in the past, so that they could be trusted. So it's kind of like we're going through this moment where we're questioning expertise and stuff and journalism, but what are we replacing it with, you know? What are we replacing it with? Because the people who critique experts are not experts, right? That's like a weird thing. Like, yeah, you have to acknowledge that in society we absolutely need expertise and trust in other people. Like, can you imagine how laborious it would be to research everything in your life? Like, imagine turning on the tap and being like, I don't know about that plumber. He's part of the Illuminati. Oh, you know, who plumbed this house? I don't know who plumbed this house. Could be a conspiracy. I'm being comical, but think about how many things you encounter in your day that are built on trust and expertise. Your house will be absolutely full of things that you rely on that you probably don't really know how work, couldn't make again yourself, but we have, you know, we have expertise in society. People get educated on how to do things so we can specialize, provide each other with these conveniences. Am I making sense? We're in multiplayer, we want it or not, so it's better to use it in your favor. Why do things alone when you can do things together, says Chimera. That's an interesting take, saying like we're in multiplayer. It's very true. We're playing in multiplayer mode. That then leads down to a paranoid rabbit hole, says Heart Gamer. Well, the rabbit hole is that, like, we're like slowly undermining different institutions, it feels like, or like different areas of society are just like falling one by one. There's like less and less trust in different institutions and governments and stuff. Where does it all end? Okay, this requires a tiny bit of concentration right here, I think. There we go. Bullets Rat says, the clinic I was in suggested for me to do keto. It helped a lot for me personally, and it can for specific health issues, but I always tell people to talk to their doctor first, since it's not for everyone. Yeah, not bad advice. Chat to a doctor first, right? Another thing about getting information online is that, like, it's dispensed generally. So if someone comes in talking about how great the keto diet is, it's like, well, it was great for you, and it might have been great for your friend, but that's anecdotal. And what about, you know, a doctor who has your medical history right there? Because they might go, oh, but remember, you got this issue. That'll be really bad with keto. Thanks for telling me, doc, you know. But, you know, there's this growing skepticism of expertise, and it drives me a little bit mad. It's like, where are we going? Where are we going? Because the problem is, experts can get things wrong. Of course they can. They're humans. And we need space to be able to say, hey, wait a minute. you know, this ain't right. But I don't feel like we're getting those shots right at all. It feels like we've got this like alternative space trying to cut into the traditional one, undermining it all, and it's very messy and it doesn't look pretty. I want to read more of your messages now. I'm getting a bit annoyed with, like, you can tell this is just getting under my skin. Yo, definitely not Wonder. Thank you for the Prime. Appreciate you, my dude. Thank you for subscribing. That's why we don't hand out medical advices in chat here, says Forgil. Yes, yes. Very, very true. Black Range PL says, I recently read an interesting theory. It was called something along the lines of complexity collapse. It claimed that complex societies create increasingly specialized classes of people that cost more and more energy. When resources turn scarce, a society can reject this complexity in favor of collapse in hopes of being better off. Maybe we are in a period like that. People are rejecting authority and institutions because they feel they've failed them in life. I think that's a very smart take on the whole thing. But as for the scarcity part, the scarcity, though, is being driven by wealth inequality currently. We're not going through like end of days, the soil's corrupt and we can't farm anything and feed people. We're going through like wealth inequality, driving up prices and squeezing out ordinary people. That's what I think we're going through at the moment. I don't think we're going through like resources actually disappearing, which, yes, we're on a finite planet and that could happen. Feels like the sort of distribution of wealth is squeezing out the people in the middle and at the bottom, and that would be the scarcity, right? Like it's not even the actual scarcity. It's more just where this wealth inequality gap has been growing. You still can't believe that scientists miscalculated how many people are on Earth. Well, I mean, is that scientists that did that? Like, or is it statisticians? Or is it journalists? And like, who specifically? And like, why do you think they miscalculated it? Because I'll tell you one thing, it'd be pretty difficult to do a head count. Like, you'll probably find the amount of people on Earth is done through some form of looking at like census data and using like multiple sources of census data to try and arrive at a useful number. And that number is probably known to not be specifically accurate, but maybe accurate within a degree of confidence, right? Like, okay, we say it's 8 billion, or maybe now it's 8.1 billion. I don't know, but like, we're not saying it's exactly 8.1 billion, right? I've never heard of this miscalculated people on Earth claim before. I think doesn't everyone intuitively understand that it's like an estimate, but like a well-informed estimate? I mean, I will admit the internet made me question things about myself, but after going to a professional, I found it was true. Like my ADHD never got diagnosed as a kid, but as an adult, I did after I was curious about talking to my parents. They even admitted they questioned if I had it growing up or not. Yeah, but that's I think that's less about like you said, the internet made you question things, and that's fine to question things. But like, you went to a professional, got a diagnosis. I think the problem is when, okay, yeah, the internet makes us question stuff, that's fine, but then how do we respond to that? You know? Like, what's on the end of that? Because if it's something reasonable, like what you did, then great. But there's a lot of unreasonable outcomes at the moment, it feels like. Right, next up, let's take some of this dirt and just kind of jot where I mean, we could, I don't know, could end the river here, actually. Could end it around here or something. Wealth inequality is the biggest issue on the planet as the wealthiest get wealthier, the middle class is being pushed to the lower class, and let's not get into what's happening to the lower class. Yes, yeah, I very much believe it's becoming like a very big issue that needs to be addressed. Elmer says, I almost always learn something new from you almost every time I watch your stream, so thank you for that. That's a lovely thing. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Alright, let's get a bit of sand up in here. Surely I picked up some sand earlier. As someone who did a bit of actual research, the comments to do your own research always amuses me. It takes years to produce any serious scientific paper, yet so many people believe they will come to world-changing conclusions by Googling a few things. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm so with you on that. Like, do your own research. Like, alright, let's do our own research, but like, what's good research? I don't know. I don't know. I wish more people would realize that. Like, if you want to be good at research, it's probably something you're going to have to go study somewhere, right? Like, so you don't make silly pitfalls like Googling something and then getting the exact answer that you asked for because you were basically asking that question to Google, right? Like pitfalls like that. And I just made that one up. There's probably more I can't even think of. Like the things that you don't know, right? Things you don't know to ask. Wait, why did I stop it? Why did I stop it there and not here? Just have it like redirect here. See, it seems really quite odd now that I've noticed that. Let's go change this then. We'll get rid of all this sand and we'll move it. Move the sand. Blooming cow says go to AI for research. Yeah, yeah. Now we got a tool that hallucinates an answer for you. Yeah. There is a really good AI search engine. I forget what it was called. Perplexity, where when it gives you an answer, it shows you the sources at the same time. That can be really illuminating because I looked for something and its sources were like literally just people chatting on Reddit. I was like, well, I'm glad I know that it's people just chatting on Reddit because now I feel comfortable with like acting on that information. It's like, okay, so this just came from Reddit, but this is like this was for like some tech help thing that people discuss in Reddit forums. So it was like, yeah, that'll do. And if it doesn't work, you know, no problem. But then what about like the real game-changing, life-altering stuff that you Google for, you know? Maybe you're looking for like a cure to a disease or something. Alternative medicine, like, do you know what I mean? Alright, I've got to think about this a little bit more because I've not been doing that. Just sort of been talking a bit too much, I think. Right, there we go. So now we've got more of a shape I can get along with here. That's just the front side. This will work out okay. Yo, Actus, thank you so much for 25 months, my dude. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream, having a good time. Heart Gamer says, hey, the fact that it even gave sources, that's very impressive. That's actually like the point of it though, right? Like it wants to, the idea behind it is to like try and do this AI stuff better and smarter and safer than other people are doing it. And so part of the philosophy behind it is like, when you ask this one questions, it's going to tell you where it got its answers from. You know what might be smart here is just to like create a connection to sort of hide the flat riverbed that we're covering up. So like back here, just get this kind of like blob of land going over to this area. It also helps like cover up the beach a bit. Have you ever owned any Nintendo consoles other than the Switch? Yeah, well, the thing about that is, my Nintendo Switch, well, guess what? It doesn't exist. I don't have a Nintendo Switch. Very interesting question. I mean, to be fair, we did spend, you know, the whole of this stream talking about how much I love my Nintendo Switch. So, yeah. Do you want to ask me that question again? As someone who's had multiple research papers for a biology degree, I can safely say IA is not the way to go. There are databanks of reliable research papers out there, says LMO. Yeah, I'm not sure I would say like it's not the way to go with the AI stuff. I just think like it's early days, and like I said earlier about like it's the authoritative thing that rubs me the wrong way. It's like telling you what the AI is doing and you understanding how it's putting together those answers is valuable because now you know what's going on. And if you're using your head and listening, like you'll understand, yeah, this isn't a great way to research things. It might be a good way to research something that has very little consequence. Like you're just, I don't know, like you got something in your household that you're trying to fix, or maybe you want to know, you know when you need to go online, you need to look up like a manual for something because you lost the manual. But like with the AI, you can just ask it the question directly and it like pulls the answer from the manual. Like with low risk stuff, it can have some usefulness, right? I've asked it questions for low risk stuff where you can look at the answer and go, that's clearly bogus. You know, you ask it about this thing that you've got, I don't know, like a controller, and it says push the red A button. It's like, it doesn't have a red A button. It's because it's hallucinating it. It's just pulling controller from somewhere else. Anyway, like I think you should be informed to understand how this AI stuff works, because I think eventually these systems will get better and smarter, and they will come up with decent use cases. I mean, there already are. They're just maybe not in the search engine department yet, right? Like the protein folding stuff they've done with AI is absolutely incredible. It's going to advance medical science way beyond like any time scale we were thinking of before. But you know, the answer isn't for me to say AI is great, you know, it's brilliant, it's going to solve all our problems. Like you can't speak from a point of authority about it. And the same goes the other way. Like we can't just say it's trust me, it's terrible. It's like let's get people understanding how these things work, so they're informed, and then they'll understand like when the AI gives you an answer to your question, it is best guessing it. It is drawing it from a large library of language it's been trained on, and it is just putting together the most likely response. There's a variety of different ways of explaining it, right? A friend uses ChatGPT, an additional therapy. Haven't heard something more creepy in the last days, and it's just additional. Sorry, you mean they use it like as a therapist? Yo, Unwavering Rainbow, thank you so much for 64 months. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Thanks again for sorting out all the stuff with the LPM4. We'll be doing that again at some point in the future, I'm sure. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely not a terrible thing, but it is certainly unreliable at this point. In time for more serious topics, but a good tool for those who might need it. Yeah, if we're dealing with something serious, we want to be quite skeptical about what that stuff says, you know. It's also good to understand that the free versions of AI versus paid versions really determine the amount of correct answers you will get. I don't know too much about that. I don't know that they would directly correlate. I mean, I'm going to assume, because I used to be like paying attention to all the latest AI model stuff, and then I kind of realized that a lot of it is just really hyping up like one new model beating the old one. But like when you look at the charts, they're like blowing up the chart to make it look like 0.2% is like a massive improvement. And anyway, I'm aware of like the free models and the paid for models. If there's going to be a difference in quality between the two, is it just that when you pay, you get access to like the newer model that runs better, right? Because otherwise, I wouldn't have thought it's like a baked-in thing. It's just a consequence of like what model you have access to, right? When you use AI, I need tedious or basic coding tasks carried out. It's very helpful for streamlining workloads, but someone who knows little or no coding would just mess it up. Sounds fair. Use ChatGPT for math, but that's about it. Yeah, I think math might be one of those things it could be very solid with. I did hear some promising stuff about them making systems that do math a while ago, but again, kind of tuned out from that area a bit. The track name is River Sun. Brilliant. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I stood up. Oh, and I feel the need to go to the loo. And I've been holding it in, but I think I need to go. So, yeah. Peeps, I'll be right back. I'm just going to nip to the toilet. Just as I left there, I saw someone saying AI is like really bad with math. Now, this intuitively just sounds wrong to me. Computers, yeah. Computers are great at doing math. Like, I guess there's different types of math and stuff, right? But like, pull up the calculator app on your phone. Would you say that thing is stupid? It's better at maths than you are. Oh, I bet you that, right? Now, these AI systems, like, surely the way they're put together, they should be able to do the basic functions of a calculator, right? Hopefully, they could go perhaps above and beyond it a little bit, or be like a super calculator. Sorry, you can't see. I've sorted it out. So, like, so it sounds really weird to... Oh, wait, I've done this bit kind of wrong, haven't I? That's okay. It sounds really weird to hear, like, AI being bad at math, because it feels like that's, like, low-hanging fruit, surely. Like, it's already good at crunching numbers and doing calculations, so... How would it be bad at math? But maybe it is. Like, maybe in, like, some... Trying to advance some, like, theoretical areas of math where it isn't really about using a calculator. Maybe it's terrible. I just recall hearing some promising stuff about it back when I was really into learning about AI. Some AI is also really bad with numbers, like 3 fingers, 8 fingers, who cares? That's not like, yeah, that's not the same thing. That's not maths, that's just them trying to generate an image. Hands are tricky, aren't they? Jeez. It's going to take a while for all the grass to spread over this stuff, isn't it? Right, that I'd say is pretty good little save for where I messed up. I think Joel's going to be very happy with this new acquisition of land. Quite a lot of extra stuff out the front here now. AI image generation is a whole different technical and more ballpark, which probably shouldn't be delved into. Yeah, it's really a different kettle of fish from the maths that I was talking about, right? Oh, by the way, I'm just getting hydrated here, peeps. We got an emote for that. Alright, Ban says AI is terrible with complex math. I like to think that it just knows so many possible formulas that in the end it uses the most stupidest one. See that like calling it stupid and terrible, like I'm a bit skeptical of that because I know there's a lot of AI hate out there. Like, I remember, what's the guy's name? Okay, this guy's like a famous mathematician. Wolfram runs the website Wolfram Alpha, right? I remember watching a video with like some of the top AI people, like Dennis Isabis or someone, and that guy, and talking about how they're going to like build a model together and it's going to do all this great stuff for maths. Like that's like, that seems like a better source of information. Mr. Wolfram McAlpha? That's not his name. Someone's making jokes. Yo, Cyados, thank you ever so much for the Prime. Appreciate it. Hopefully I got the name correct. Ape Rover here for 69 months. Nice. No comment. That was your cue to say nice. Nice. Oh, excuse me, mouth burps. Oh, gosh. X, what do you think about AI being used in the rewriting of history? AI being used to redo historic images / photographs that are now being taken as fact. Well, it's a capability that we've always had to revise history and to tell it differently, and you can do that through the medium of art. I think the problem with it happening in AI is probably just people having too much trust in AI, right? So like, it spits out, you ask it, you know, you're using AI for your learning of history, and it's creating images and text, and you know, it's generating that stuff, and therefore it's not generating it factually. Yeah, that can be a huge problem. I think it's like part of the general problem, right? Like, it's not a history specific problem. It's like these things create answers or try to predict them, or you know, it doesn't actually kind of understand, like it's not like it's a conscious thing understanding what it's doing, right? It's just a process. It's like a calculation. It's got a bunch of inputs. The input is your question. It chugs it through all the variables, and you get an output. And if we start taking whatever it does as if it's fact, that's a problem. We have to understand what it is doing. So yeah, too much trust in AI, that's dangerous. So like I was saying earlier, it can be super useful for like helping you with just something where if it spits out a nonsense answer, you know it. For like small stuff, it's usually things like, sometimes I think I've used it for cooking. Like, you're just like, if you want to Google how long should I boil potatoes for, you now have to sit through some website that tells you about the history of potato boiling, and like you got to scroll and there's an ad, and then you got to keep scrolling, there's another ad. You know what I mean? Like, I can't remember the last time I looked up on Google like how long should I boil these carrots for, and I just got the answer. You just have to waddle through ads and pages of dribble. It's really annoying. So like, as an alternative to that, people use TikTok, I've heard. People now maybe using AI. So when the AI says you've got to boil the carrots for like 3 hours, you're going to be like, that's nonsense. Like, you're expecting like 10 minutes or 12 minutes. You just want to make sure you get it right. It's been a while since I boiled that type of pasta or did this type of thing. Let me just jog my memory, you know? Right, when you start asking it about stuff that you have absolutely no knowledge about and take its answers verbatim, there's the problem area. There's the problem area. The other thing is, like with cooking, if it's off by a few minutes, if it says 15, maybe overcook them a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. How do you know what is AI and what is not? If a documentary portrays something as fact, can you believe it then or now? Well, I mean, I'd like to think much of the content that I am consuming currently is not AI generated. I feel like I can currently detect the AI slop, but it might get good enough where we don't know the difference, and that is extremely scary if I find out that new YouTuber I started watching isn't a real person, despite being utterly convincing. Boiling carrots for 3 hours would just make a type of carrot soup, I think. There you go, you've got one there. You've made a new dish. Carrot soup. A delicacy boiled for 3 hours. I would love a bowl of soup right now. Do you know what? You know you can have like hot chocolate if you go to a football match or whatever. I remember when I was younger, like sometimes you would get like a cup of soup. In fact, a place I worked at once used to do it, and they were free as well. They had like a little coffee machine and it would do soup. And now that I think about it, that soup was probably not particularly healthy. That was probably some nasty like preservative added soup. But hot drink is soup, like tomato soup. It's quite nice. So you talked about not taking internet answers verbatim, but you were talking about your opinions on AI based on your intuitive feeling. You feel that AI can't be bad at math. I guess what I'm saying is I'm really aware, because I've seen the content online of like AI hate and people talking about it from like uninformed places. Like it's hard. Like we can go down this rabbit hole endlessly. Like I cite this thing. How do we know they're an expert? But like you know, you can listen to podcasts. You can get videos with the people in AI themselves. You know, the engineers. You can get access to them and hear about how they put their systems together. That's how I learned about AI, from the people making it. So then when that rubbed up against the criticism against AI, when I became aware of that, like I was originally into this stuff before it was a big thing, you know, like before the world was talking about it. And I'm actually happy that the world's talking about it. I actually think it's really great that loads of people know what it is and we're engaged and talking about it, because that was one of the big fears, was that this stuff could become pervasive in society with people not realizing it. But fortunately, everyone's discussing it, everyone's aware. I mean, we're talking about these problems about not being, not using the AI search engine correctly, right? And taking its answers verbatim. That could have been a lot worse had this been a much, like, let's imagine the technology is the same, but people cared about it less. We could have even less people talking about it and less awareness, and more people just taking the answers verbatim. So, although the whole thing is messy, pretty much everything we go through in history is messy, and one of the important things to make it less messy, I think, is to have people aware and engaged, and they are, and that's great. But as you know, I think it was, you know, really with ChatGPT 3 rolling out that all of a sudden so many more people became aware of what was happening in AI. I would see takes on it that were very negative, but clearly not that well informed at the same time. I can't claim to be an expert, and I don't. I always like to talk about this stuff, telling you my own shortcomings, right? Like, I'm just trying to lay it out to you how I've experienced it. So I've listened to this stuff like from the side of engineers and people actually involved with the technology, and then that rubs up against some of its critics, and you hear them say things where it's like, it sounds like you don't understand how this works, you know? And that's what gets me with this math thing, is that there was a lot of talk about how promising it would be. So when someone says it's terrible at math in a chat, that's not a lot of information to work off of, right? Like, if you can send me to like the engineers who worked on it talking about how it didn't pan out, and it turns out, you know, there's a lot of stuff in maths that the AI just can't do at the moment, then that's a source of information to me where I'm like, okay, that's it. Fair enough. It's not good, right? But when I'm just getting a statement of like, AI is so bad at math, it just sounds like one of those talking points that gets thrown around. Yeah, this here almost looks like a non-river thing, like an artificial one or something. Isn't AI bad for the environment, says Minka. Everything we do as humans has a price tag attached to it, which impacts our environment. The food you eat has a price tag in carbon that we pay every time we eat. That carbon has to, that food has to be produced, and to be produced at the scale to feed the amount of people on this planet, that has, you know, we have to use a lot of fossil fuels to make that happen. If we took away all the fossil fuels, a lot of people would starve. Like, our way of life and all the luxuries it brings us and all the things we might take for advantage, like running water and, you know, having a toilet, you know, flicking a switch on the wall and the lights turning on, everything's tied to carbon. So AI is tied to carbon emissions too. And AI consumes a ton of energy. So as this new technology is emerging, and we are kind of unsure of its uses, if it's going to be a net positive or not on society, a lot of attention is being put on the fact that it draws a ton of power, and that is then being directly equated to carbon emissions and being said that it is bad for the environment, right? It is, you know, it is another source of us using power, and that power is all tied to fossil fuels, right? Like, we do have other forms of generating power as well, but you know, like we yeah, I think you get what I'm saying. Yes, there's solar. Yes, there's this thing, that thing. So if they fire up like some AI data center and say, look, it's next to, you know, this big solar power plant, like, you can make the argument that, well, that power could have been used for something else instead, right? So like, people will attach their disdain for AI and where it's all going to the fact that, you know, it's consuming a lot of power, and that could be negative for the planet. And then your AI proponents, people who are saying all the positive things about it, are saying, well, you know, here's the thing, it's going to help us solve the whole energy problem. I don't really think, I don't know, if in order for AI to help solve our energy problem, it's going to have to discover some serious breakthroughs with technology to help us decarbonize, like, some of the core things that we need, like food, right? So like, it's going to have to figure out a way to decarbonize food production. And actually, John Deere, that company that makes all the farming stuff, they've been doing a ton of stuff with AI to make farming more efficient. I don't know to what extent, but like, now when they I don't know, go through all the process of like de-weeding fields and stuff, they can more efficiently use resources because they've got AI tech that now can do that process more efficiently and stuff, right? All this carbon talks makes you want to breathe air now. That air's got some carbon in it. A few parts per million. But doesn't AI learn from humans? So how could AI discover things, says Philip? Well, the idea would be that, yes, like, so you're thinking in terms of like, we have a limit to our knowledge, let's say. The hope is that we will be able to unlock, I guess, more knowledge. I see what you're saying. It's like you're thinking of like our limitations as its limitation. I think the idea is that because it's a computer, because it can be scaled up, because we can multiply it, build bigger and better models, like maybe we can surpass our own limitations with it. It's kind of the idea. If we do that or not, who knows? Who knows? But the real amazing breakthrough it did with the proteins, I mean, like it took just astronomical amounts of human manpower and spit out so many more resource answers than we could have ever dreamed for. Like I think it took something like, you know, thousands and thousands of man hours of work to simulate like a successful protein fold to the point where you understand it. And then this thing turned around and took what would take us tens of thousands of years and did it in 6 months. So like that's another thing it could perhaps help us with, is like brute force. I was going to say manual labor, but it's not manual, it's like intellectual labor. Like it could help with some things there. Would it be like putting all our current knowledge into one set area, like the AI, and use that to find new things? Yeah, that's the general idea. Like, imagine that you're in some sort of field of science, and a lot of what you learn and discover is done through experimentation, right? But then, let's say we can recreate that environment with the AI. We can then scale up the AI and have it like brute force lots and lots of experimentation, some of which a human might look at and go, of course you wouldn't do that, right? But, you know, we just brute force our way through it. We get all of these answers, and because we can scale it up, you know, we can make it as if one person's work is that of 1,000,000. Then we might yield some new knowledge from that process, and that knowledge could benefit humanity. It's not just the energy, it's the enormous amount of water AI uses for cooling. I read somewhere one AI pitcher needs about 12 litres of water. Yes. Here's the other thing though. By the way, that's definitely a problem. Not diminishing that, just... I guess I'm trying to highlight how like certain things take up our attention and we latch onto little like data points, and then if you step out and look at the bigger picture, like a lot of stuff in life will probably have, if you can be bothered to calculate it, like a liters of water footprint, you know, like showering. You get in your shower every day and you're using water, right? Because the water eventually, you know, recycles through the atmosphere, becomes clouds, becomes rain, goes into rivers. So like, how many liters of water do you think you'd use when you have a shower, right? So it's like, I generated an AI picture today. I don't know how many liters you used, but like there's an equivalence there. And I think like a lot of discussion around this stuff, it's like, I think people have an emotional reaction to something and then will like pull out a piece of information that supports that narrative, right? So it's like, you tend not to go and figure out how much everything uses in terms of water expenditure. But that sounds bad, and I don't like AI, so, you know, I'll pull that one over here. ONCV55, thank you for 2 months with the Prime. Appreciate you using that on me. To anyone who is subscribed, we've had a few new subscribers today. You can use your Prime subscription, even a gifted sub, any type of subscription to join our Let's Play Minecraft Together server. If that interests you at all, come over to xisumavoid.com/get-whitelisted. You can hook up your Twitch account to our whitelist and play on our server. There's a wonderful community there that I think you'll enjoy. I think AI is useful, but people are using it for the wrong reasons. AI images are great for prototyping, but flooding art platforms with slop is bad. Yeah, I think that's a pretty level-headed take. I'll agree with you on that one. The slop is slop. Slop is sloppy. I'm doing my part, I barely ever shower, says Delinia. Yeah, but what if you learned that like sending a message on Twitch was like the equivalent of showering for a month? It's probably not. It's probably not. But this is what I'm getting at. Like, when we just, yeah, have this kind of like dialogue around stuff, and it's so often just like weaponized to be one way or another. Dude, did this just change in 1.21.5? Did the Enderman farm break? That's really weird. That's like... Aprova says, oh nice, no more showers for me. Brilliant. I wonder, like, Endermen haven't had their health changed, right? Oh, this is going to get reported as a bug. Someone's going to discover there's like a bug here. That's really weird. What if I throw down like half slabs? Maybe then they'll survive the drop. That's so weird. God, I thought an Enderman was staring at me then. See what happens. Here's the thing, right? Like, once I place down one, it becomes really awkward to place the rest. Oh my god! And then I just, in one go, just did it. I'm picturing them like falling down in front of me and stuff. That's crazy. Weird. Okay, well I guess the slabs are a temporary fix, right? Yo, Hilma, have a great rest of your day. Glad you enjoyed the stream. I'm supposed to be repairing stuff. That was the whole point of me coming over here. So, might as well do that, you know. Since it was the point and all. Array ban, you got it 100%. Yeah, the Enderman, like, the void looks like the body, doesn't it? Just lets it feel like it's just hanging out. Oh, jeez, there actually is. There actually is one here. Them escaping might also be a bug, but then again, there's like these extra carpets out here. I don't know how they got there. Right, that is all I needed to do. My job here is done, basically. My job here is done. I may return. Oscar Grouchy says, I think Graham broke it. What do you mean? Like, if he broke it, did he go and rebuild the platform at the top? Like, they should die from that full damage, from that full distance, right? Oh, another thing I was hoping to do this stream, but you know, like, you only really get to do one thing at a time. Maybe make a room up here for lodestones, because the lodestone recipe just got cheapened. And actually, you know, there's a couple other things we need to work on here, which is like giving loglands a proper entrance. This river actually looks super cool now because it kind of looks like it helps separate loglands a little bit more. I think I might end up making it wider. It could do it being a bit wider in places, but now loglands is separated. And I think the entrance to loglands should be around here. So we'll have like a staircase that goes down and probably just connects here. Then you can go up into this area and out, or down here. I don't think there's like much of an elaborate place to put a big entrance because like all these empty spaces are deliberately dark. So that kind of seems like the logical thing to do, right? So if I came down here and I dug upwards diagonally, eventually I think it would come out maybe somewhere around there. Let's get a little prototype in place. I think a prototype is smart. So we want to avoid this. So I'm probably, you know, it's probably going to be about 3 blocks wide. Let's say it's like 3 blocks wide here. Yo, I don't have a torch. Don't have a torch, son. Need some torches, yo. I could steal some, but... Do you know what? I could actually steal these because the beacon beams provide a fair bit of light. Thing is, if I put a couple of them down, it's just going to get dark again as we get further away. So, this will be awkward is what I'm saying. Ah. Then we need that space there preserved. Huh. You know what? Maybe we don't, because the TNT duper is way above where the tree grows. I think we're probably not going to interfere with the farm up here. You just dig out this big space. Plus, I think I dug this thing out a little higher than it needed to be, so I reckon we'll be good in this corner just to do that, basically. Whoops. Let's do that again. One block higher. Beacon beams don't provide light. Good point. It's the sunlight coming in, isn't it? It's the sunlight. It's just a common thing. Like a beacon beam will be linked up to the sky. So you just sort of think like, oh yeah, beacon beam, light. But not at nighttime. Not at nighttime. It's a good point. Right, I hear a bit of dirt. Might be about as good as that. They updated the full damage counter, if I recall correctly, in the new update. Like, the counting was slightly off last time, not entirely sure. I vaguely recall something like that. Like, there's this old bug where it calculates full damage incorrectly, and they patched it, and so, yeah, maybe that messed with the farm. Alright, so it looks like our entrance would be about here, and then we could have a little bridge that goes across over there. So I'm just going to go ahead, walk over here, and then put this down. So we've got a bit of an indicator of a bridge. Alright. That's how you're going to get into loglands in the future, is by walking across that bridge. Well, if you're coming from over there. And I've lost the entrance. Here it is. Very cool. I think I'll put that on the thumbnail today. It looks good from this angle. It was just over here. It felt a little weak. I think making it wider probably won't make much of a difference because the terrain's just going to hide it. But I love that we got that now. And now Joel's got a load more space to expand into. Might want to fill that in, I don't know. But yeah, it's looking good. Yo, do we got... Tab button. I see Impulse is streaming, but also AFK. Can y'all tell me where Impulse is at? Feels like it's been a minute since we bumped into another hermit. Well, did I... I'm clever.
Why is your chat so different to mine? Why is all of my chat like convinced it's a 10?
Oh my god. Why can't I press the right button?
Okay.
There it is. Oh, they're right here. Hello.
Oh, Xizuma's here.
Oh, we got Xisuma. Hi.
I was flying up above.
Hello.
And I saw 2 iron golems, but no, you're not iron golems.
Wait.
We're not iron golems. No.
Did the
Wait,
building not render
golems?
and they were in my soup shop over there or something?
No, because I'm streaming and I'm distracted by other stuff. Like I see 2 things below me and my brain's like, iron golems. Didn't really look for like half a second. So
gotcha.
now
was it you flying around? I think I spotted you before.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense as to why I heard voices. Hi.
That's
Hi.
just us.
Are you
talking
both,
about getting shocked?
Oh, at the event.
Did you catch
Shock
that
value,
segment
you know?
of the Gamers Outreach thing where we
You guys were
shocked?
amazing, by the way. Like that was so
Yeah.
so entertaining, so much fun. I stayed up late. I watched the whole thing. It was really great.
Oh my god.
Really?
10 hours both
Oh, that'd
days,
be super
dude?
late for you.
Pretty much, yeah. I'd stay up into the early
Wow.
hours of the morning, but it was totally worth it.
Oh my gosh.
I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Wow.
Wish,
Glad you liked it.
Wish you were there with us, but you know,
I'm anonymous. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, how long?
What if you
could
wore like a
keep that
mask the whole
scream
time?
mask on? Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you?
Do you know what? I don't record guitar videos very often because of that mask. It is stuffy. It is
uncomfortable?
awful.
Yeah. You know,
Okay,
I've actually
fair enough.
got one of those, and they are pretty. They're
Yeah.
not that great to wear.
They're rough. They got that
get it.
weird plastic
Yeah.
smell in them.
Yeah, and then the more you're in it, the more you breathe, the more like ill
Yep.
breath condensation you get, and it's just gross.
It's not pleasant.
No.
What are
you
you
need a proper
two
breathing
up
hole
to
for that.
anyway?
We're just yapping.
Yeah.
Oh, Pearl returns my horse that had wandered off.
Oh.
I
Still
thought it
wandering.
could free range along the city, but it found its way all the way to Pearl's base somehow. I don't know.
Yep.
That's
Started
crazy.
climbing my
That's a
cliffs.
long way to wander.
That is.
It went to Tango's area and then went across the river again to my base.
Oh my gosh, thing was on a
Like,
mission.
okay. Yeah.
What the heck?
That's wild.
Technically, I should
That's
be
it.
ending my stream at
Where
this
did
point,
it-
but you know.
I'm actually surprised that you're still
Yeah.
streaming. It's
Yeah, I've
late
gone
for
an
you.
hour and 20 minutes over. I'm
Are
blaming
you-
Ollie for that.
Are you having the jet lag still? All messed up your sleep schedule?
It hasn't been too terrible, if I'll be honest.
That's the worst person to ask. Pearl's like, no, it can't mess up my sleep schedule
Yeah.
because my sleep schedule is always
Yeah.
messed up. So
That's the trick.
You're already on the correct time.
I'm always messed up, dude. When I'm normal, that's when it's messed up.
yeah, this feels normal to me. I don't know what normal feels
Yeah.
like actually.
I wish I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I get normality whenever I go overseas. That's when I'm getting up at like 8 a.m. because I'm like, okay, people are moving around the house, so I'll get up out of bed, or I don't want to miss a hike, so I'll get up,
It's like
That's when there's a normality there.
it's like your body synchronizes with the actual expectation of like
Yeah, it's
sunlight
like,
and routine
well,
and
I
stuff.
think, I feel like my body synchronizes with the environment. Like, that's the thing that gets me up and going more so than where the sun is in the sky. I think
Got ya.
that's the main thing.
So,
Like,
like, as
if
soon as
people
you
are up
heard-
and out and about,
Yeah, as soon as you heard people walking around the house and stuff, that's when you knew it was time
Yeah.
to get up.
well, we couldn't hear very much, like, downstairs. But, like, I was like, okay, I know people want to go for a hike super early in the morning, so I better get up at actually decent time. I say super early, it wasn't that early. But, get up
I
at a
know.
somewhat decent time.
Listen,
Well, actually,
Pearl,
to be honest,
listen.
actually that morning, I got up actually at a good time by myself, and then found out you guys were going for a hike.
What's a good time? Because I was like, where is everyone? Because I wake up naturally at 6 a.m. every day, no
That's
matter
a
what.
good time to wake up.
It doesn't matter if I go to sleep at 1 a.m. I'm getting up at 6.
Oh my gosh.
Right? It's just the way my body works, right? So I'm up at 6 a.m. And I'm, I go outside. I go sit by the dock, looking out over the lake for like a good hour, get a little mindful meditation stuff going on, just enjoying it. I go inside after about an hour expecting people to be up, ready for breakfast. No, nothing. Sit there for
It's
another
7 a.m..
hour. Eventually, Jem comes down, and then it's me and Jem, and then eventually Cub comes down, and then it's just us for another hour. And then finally, people start getting up. I'm like, what is happening? Why is everybody sleeping until like 11 a.m.?
It was not 11 a.m. That's an
Oh.
exaggeration.
A little bit.
Yeah, it was like 9
9:30.
a.m. I think was when everybody was like
9:30.
moving
It's
around.
like, come on,
Yeah,
guys,
which
I've been up for
honestly I
3
was
hours.
surprised.
Days half
I think that-
gone.
If I were
There was one day
there,
when
I
it
would
was
be,
super quiet.
I'd be an early riser too. When I go on holiday,
You'd be with me?
I'm just trying to like maximize my time there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I would get up early and go
That's
to bed
right.
late.
I was feeling it by the
thing-
end though. The sleep, not the lack of sleep catching up. I felt it by the end of the trip.
I've just done so much travel that by that point I was like, I need to crash out. Yeah, it was just like, okay, I can kind of relax now. There's no like urgent priorities going. I'm just going to get like an extra hour or two. I think that was me.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to be up. It's just I would usually just end up not really like I would go to sleep early and then I'd wake up in the middle, and then I don't know. It was just all over the place, which is very normal.
That's just your messed up sleep schedule coming to bite you.
Yeah, pretty much. My main thing I still want to get over is not going to sleep early. I was attempting to not do that on this trip, and I still would go to sleep before everyone. It was, to be fair, everyone was saying I was going really early, and it would be 10 p.m. still. It's at least time to go to
Yeah,
sleep.
no, that's what I should have done. You were going to bed at the normal time.
Yeah.
But, we're hanging out.
And everybody was like, "Where'd you go?" I was like, "I went to bed at a good time." What do you mean, where'd I go? I was
Xisuma, you would have had fun. We had a 3-story house And there was like this balcony on the 3rd story that you could go up on, and you could throw a ping pong ball all the way down into a solo cup on the 1st story. So it's like really far.
It's like a
really
skill
like
challenge.
20 plus feet away. Yeah. And so we made up game where every day everyone got 5 throws. That's it for the whole day. You get 5 chances. And so every day we would all take turns going up the stairs, throwing the ball, and it took like 3 days before somebody finally got it.
Who got it?
You say somebody.
That somebody was me.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
You've been
It was so
living
much
that out.
fun, though. That was great. You would have nailed it. Xisuma would have got it on day 2. You're a gamer. You would have.
Say day 2. What if it was going to be day 1, man?
Oh man, day 1 game over. That
People
were
were really close on day 1. Like someone literally grazed the side of the cup.
False hit the top edge of the cup on day 1.
Yeah, it was very close.
Right? That was false, right?
My chat's already roasting me and saying my aim would never. To be fair, the one time I attempted it, it was pretty bad.
Was it?
Yeah. See, Green put out a video of me throwing snowballs, and now I can never get over the allegations that I suck at throwing.
Yeah, I saw
So
I did see your snowball throws.
oh, thank
They
you very
were
much. I appreciate the support.
fantastic.
You know, thank
Bro,
you.
you're really good at art. Your art that you did for Gamers Outreach was incredible. Larry was
thank you.
fantastic. So what you may not have in throwing snowballs, you have in other places, okay?
Okay. I was gonna say, where's the plot twist? Because I'm like, you started off sarcastic, and then you brought in the art, and I was like, okay.
No, I just wanted to make
Where's
sure.
this
You know, 'cause some
going?
people they get down on themselves when they might be lacking in a certain skill set. So you got to
Okay.
remember that you are way above average in other things, and almost every other thing. So you're allowed to have one
you
thing
know
you're not
what?
good at. Okay, it's actually good to know you're human.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that because now whenever Gemma asks me, what do I suck at? Instead of saying just swimming, because yeah, I suck at swimming, I can now say throwing things, and she can't argue against it. She's seen it firsthand. Bam, sorted.
Now, what you need to do is,
Mhm.
we have a whole year now. Spend the whole next
Right.
year, get yourself a personal trainer, and
Just
just
for throwing.
become like
I will surprise you all,
professional,
right?
like pitcher. You know what I mean? Baseball,
Uh-huh.
they have pitchers. Become like
Right.
professional. Get and then just show
I kinda
up and
wanna
just
do
start
that.
throwing
You should
darts.
do that.
I kind of want to. Yeah.
should.
Why does that why is that? I kind of want to, honestly, I do want to start picking up random like sport sessions. Things like playing tennis or badminton or squash. Any of that. I just want to like go out and play a random like little sport thing one day. I feel like that could be a lot of fun. And
throwing would be
maybe
like
I
the
wouldn't be so bad.
Throwing would be like the simplest thing ever as well. Like, what do you need? A ball and something to aim at? And off you go.
Pretty much.
Just
Gotta
do
learn
a
the
little
form,
bit of that every day.
How to step, where the elbow goes, how the arm swings around. Get the
Yeah.
form down. And then
We
just
know my
hone in on
form
that.
sucks. So
What is it? 10,000 hours to become great at something?
Oh,
So just put 10,000 hours in.
Okay, 10,000 hours of thring.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, over
your
the course
arm
of a
would look
year.
crazy after that.
I don't know if I could do that in a year.
It's just
Oh.
one arm is huge like
Yeah.
Popeye, right?
Got your Popeye arm for throwing. Oh.
Impy, there's only 8,760 hours in a year. I can't do that.
Oh, shoot.
Wow, you know that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like that? No calculator?
No, I googled it.
Oh.
All right, well, yeah. Do
Okay,
nothing
sorry to
but
say, I'm not
practice
that good.
throwing a ball for the entire year. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but then you got to do it for like a year and a half because it's not enough, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you might not be an expert, but you'd be really good. You'd be
But that's like
blind.
constantly.
That'd be
Like
good
you can't sleep, you can't do anything else but throw.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine the arm muscles after that?
That's
Sure,
what I'm
I mean, you
saying.
can
Yeah,
also
you-
just like
you'd be-
slowly increase the ball weight
You might
over
want to
time.
practice with both arms just to keep them even,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Even it out.
yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Oh, man. Xisuma would have been great to have you. I totally understand
Yeah.
why you weren't able to make it, but I could see Xisuma up on. Do you get in the water at all, Xisuma?
Yeah, I did a lot of swimming when I was young. I was in a swimming club.
So you're
like
good with
Scott.
water? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Because we were
fine
on a
with it.
lake and we had this paddle board,
Ooh.
and people were taking turns on the paddle board. It's a giant paddle board. We could fit 6 people on it, which was nuts. But I could just see Xisuma standing nice and tall, all jacked,
To the
just
paddle board.
paddling across the lake. I bet he could have gone all the way across the lake and back in no problem. Wouldn't even been out of breath.
I probably could. I went swimming like a few years ago. I went down to the local swimming pool, and like spent an hour there swimming, and it was all right, but it was like really boring just swimming in a pool, you know, just going back and forth doing
Oh.
lanes.
But what about a lake that is super cold?
That's what I'm saying. A lake would be like way more exciting because you'd be surrounded by Mother Nature and
Cold?
Yeah, how do you feel about cold water?
it makes me
freezing?
really alert. Like sometimes I wake up and I just don't feel that awake, so I have a cold shower and it's just like boom, come to life, you know.
Okay, let me tell you the
Oh
let me
my
tell you the
gosh.
temperature of this lake. Okay,
Go on.
and then tell me how
And
you feel
Martin
about this.
loved it. He was in there so much.
It was 5.5 degrees Celsius, 5.5 degrees.
I don't know.
I'm glad you
I
did
don't know
Celsius.
what like and the normal temperature is at like the swimming pool, whatever. But I have a feeling I'd like it because it'll force you
It
to
was
move
cold.
around and stuff, and
Right?
keep you like
Am
really
I get
alert.
this right? It was 42 Fahrenheit, 42 degrees Fahrenheit. I love how people in chat are like, that's not cold. Jump in a 42-degree lake.
Look, a 30-degree
then tell
pool,
me
in
it's
my
not
opinion,
cold.
feels kind of cold. So I'm just saying.
There's not a single person that jumped in that lake that was like, oh, this is balmy. You know, like it's cold. Like,
Everybody,
it was hard
everybody
to-
said it was cold. Even the ones
I
that stayed
cold
in there.
plunged.
I imagine it would be, but like that's part of the fun. Like you know what
Yeah.
you're getting yourself into.
I cold
Yeah.
plunge every night. Not at that temperature. I was like 10 degrees hotter Fahrenheit than that. But that lake still punched me in the gut when
Yeah?
I jumped in. I
Okay,
came to the
maybe
surface
5
going,
is too low then, because I don't do the cold plunge, but like cold shower is not as intense as a cold plunge, right?
right.
Cold showers are
yes.
horrible though. I
I
can't do cold showers. Even on a hot day to
Think-
cool
think
down, like I'll
less-
try a cold shower and be like, no, absolutely not.
think of
Can't
it.
do
Think of it as like being refreshing, because like when you get in that temperature, that is like your body saying you cannot stay here, and like you know you stay here and you die basically, right? That's why it's uncomfortable, but you're actually safe because you can just step out of the shower and get warm again. So like it makes you really
That's true.
awake and really alert, and that's what I like about it, because it is uncomfortable and it does kind of suck a bit, but like it also makes you really awake. It's like having a cup of coffee.
I just spray my face with cold water and that wakes me up.
That does the trick too a lot
A
of the
little
time.
splash from the sink.
Yeah, that can do it too.
Well,
Yeah.
I got a hydrating spray that's like it tends to like keep itself fairly cold, so it's just it's lovely.
Hydrating
It's very
spray?
refreshing. Yeah, hydration spray.
How does
It's
that
it's a
work?
nice.
Yeah, like you drink
Oh,
to
it's
get
a spray.
hydrated.
It's
but
no,
with a
it's
spray?
just like it hydrates the
She's
skin.
like, I
you
open
know?
my mouth
Oh,
when
okay.
I spray my face.
You do not want to have that in your mouth. I'll tell you that much. It's got like chemicals and stuff in it, but
Chemicals?
it's nice. It's a little mist.
Who
Yeah,
needs
it's
chemicals?
it's
Like
for your-
moisturizing
It's to hydrate your
stuff, right?
face.
I get
Yeah,
Sounds like
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, another point to
a
the
little
lake
fine
thing. It was
mist.
actually cold outside as well. So
Yeah, that would really
like,
suck.
it's a little easier to get in cold water when it's hot outside.
It
Definitely.
wasn't
it's
that
cold.
cold outside.
No, it was beautiful actually.
Everyone's saying
Yes.
moisturizing spray. I think it's literally called a hydrating spray.
Skincare mist. Skincare
Fine.
mist. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was specifically for waking you up type situation. I haven't got I have to go into the bathroom to go
That's
and
why
get
her
that,
sleep
but I'm not
schedule's
gonna
all
bother with
messed
that
up.
right now.
She just takes a hit of this every once in a while and then comes to sleep right.
No, that's called a nap. I take a nap and then I'm awake.
Yeah.
I get my little nana naps and then I'm good.
I got an answer from Jem. The shock level was 10.
Hey,
Out
my
of
chat
10?
was right.
Took a 10 like a champ. Jem barely flinched. I mean,
Wow.
a little flinch, but 10 a shock of 10. That was the one that's when it finally was like, okay, this is a bit much. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Skiz screamed at like 7. So
He was screaming at all of them, let's be honest.
he
Did
screamed at
Tango
all of them,
even
even the
flinch?
vibration ones. Yeah.
Did Tango even flinch when he had the shock?
No, Tango
No.
is a machine.
Yeah.
His harmonica
Tango's-
didn't even
It's
go
same,
off.
Same with the hot sauce stuff, right? Like he just
Oh, dude,
doesn't
the hot
doesn't
ones
budge.
didn't affect him. Yeah, didn't affect him at all. Like his eyes didn't even water, which is insane. And then like the shock, it was like it was like it wasn't working. He didn't even move. You see Cub in the background going, "What is happening here? This guy is not human."
Oh.
That was fun. That was fun.
Apparently,
spices,
apparently it went
Xisuma?
up
Would
to
you
level
have-
16.
Yeah, the shock. I got a hit with a 16 at the end there,
Yikes.
and that was the one where I actually involuntarily screamed. Yes.
Oh.
There was no like choking that one back. It just comes out. But if we did if you were there, Xisuma, and we're doing the hot ones, would you have jumped in on that? Would you run the gamut on the hot sauces? You think?
I don't think I would, because I have a bad story with this, right? So when I was a teenager and I was throwing a party in the garage, someone brought around a bottle of hot sauce, and like for a laugh, we would just like chug it or something, right? And I chugged some of it, and it just ruined the whole night. Like my whole evening was ruined. It was disgusting. It was awful. I think it's like really put me off trying hot stuff. So I like some degree of heat, but I think as soon as it starts getting uncomfortable, I would just back away. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I'll do the
everybody
first
was
couple,
all.
but that'll be it.
I remember that night, Sunday night, and this is actually why we did it
You remember
as one
that
of the
night.
last things of the entire event, was just because we knew it could mess some people up post eating, if you will. And so Sunday night came around and everybody's like, oh, so hungry. That was a long day. Let's go out and get some food and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there going like, I don't want to eat anything. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like I had some chips to try to like settle my stomach down a little bit. And I was fine the next
Oh,
day.
that's
But
good.
that stuff, that'll mess you up. Yeah. With that much heat, that'll mess you up. Your stomach will be
I
on fire
seriously-
for a
Yeah.
little bit.
I think I'd be too
I
sensitive.
can't believe
to
some
it.
of you had multiple 10s in a row. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, we got
'Cause
hit with a lot of that tough
Last
stuff.
year it was
Usually you just do the
just-
one.
Yeah, you were just building it one by one, and you all were struggling with that one. But every single person this year had the first round of the 10s. I think everybody ended up having a 10 by the end of it, and then you all did 1 to 10, and nobody conked out. That was the most shocking part about it.
Yeah. That's because we all got the bomb, which is arguably worse than the 10.
Yeah, because
We
it
all
tastes
had the
disgusting,
bomb.
right?
Grian snuck that in on us on the last round. So we all had the worst one, and then after that, it didn't really matter what we put in our mouths. Honestly, we could take anything.
Do
after the bomb.
do the milkshakes help much?
No, that was a terrible idea.
Really? Wow.
I shouldn't. No. Apparently, the way to go is citrus.
Interesting.
I remember I chugged an entire milkshake, which it's not something I typically do, obviously, but I chugged the entire milkshake and I was still just breathing fire. Didn't want to talk to anybody,
Yeah.
and then I also felt terrible about it.
They always offer you milk, right? Like,
Yeah, no, it needs to be like lime juice or something.
Oh, that would be gross to drink, though. Let's be honest, though. A
saying citrus makes
milkshake is
things
way more
worse.
satisfying. Oh.
I could
mean,
get,
I
I
feel
could
like
get,
the
I could get
milkshakes-
along
the
with
way
the
to go.
lime. I think. I like. I
feel
like
like the
eating,
milkshakes were-
lemon, like lemon rind and lime rind.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm part of that
I feel
club.
like
Membership one.
the milkshakes, in my opinion, were like really nice just like to sip on a little bit. So then you would have a little bit in your mouth. So if you scull the whole thing, you're not suddenly out of a milkshake. You just slowly have it and it slowly gets rid of it. That's what I found the best last year when I had the 9 and 10.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember last year the milkshake helping. This year it did not help. Maybe I was just on that.
Probably because
much
you
of-
sculled it.
Yeah, that might have been it.
I
just
you
remembered,
gotta
like,
slow eat it.
I eventually told people, like after cameras were off of us and we were moving on to the next thing, I eventually was like, I don't want to talk to anybody for like the next 10 minutes. Like,
Because
just
every time you
talking
talk, all
is-
the air
yeah,
would just
as you talk,
hit.
like that air going through your mouth, like made it so much worse. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
over, sit in the corner by myself.
You've really like put me off. Like you've totally convinced me. If there was any part of me that was like, yeah,
No.
maybe I'll try this like hot sauce stuff. Nah, I'm done. I
That
don't
was
wanna-
it
I
for
don't wanna
me.
experience that.
That was it for me. That was
Xisuma.
my last one. I say that now.
I
I'm
have-
probably gonna change my mind, but that was right now. I'm never doing that again. I'm done.
I had a thing pop in my head, Zuma.
Yeah.
We like, okay, so you might not be able to attend in person, right? But what if there was like a video camera situation where you would only like wear the mask for a short amount of time, like on that segment, and then you could like participate in some kind of thing on your end while it's happening on the other end?
Didn't we kind of
Would
have
that
that with
be
the
feasible?
robo thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
kind of,
do,
yeah.
I just kind
VTuber
of
like Cleo.
felt I just kind of felt like I wanted to just be in the audience watching y'all, like, and let you do your
Mhm.
thing, because it's like out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't feel right. Like if y'all hopped on the server and we were hanging out like this, that would be cool. But I kind of just wanted.
Yeah,
to
we didn't
watch.
have a lot of server time last time.
That was the
No,
one
yeah.
thing that was a lot different than the years past. Was we did not spend a lot of time on the server other than doing the signs. And, it's good and bad. Like, we're there, a lot of us are there in person, so it does feel weird to just log onto the server because that's what we could do from home. But at the same time, then without doing that, we miss a chance to hang out with the people that couldn't make it, like Xisuma and Jevin was sick, but I know he was looking forward to hanging out on the server with us as well. And that we need to find a good balance there to where we can all still be together, even those that weren't able to make it in person.
I also
have a chance to contribute.
I also saw a few comments from people saying they expected to see us do more on the server. I think what you want to do is like brainstorm what's fun that you could do in the game if someone else is in the same room with you. Like you do a mini game, and if you fail, you get a pie in the face.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh my god, I have a question. You know that guy got pied, right?
Yes, Zach.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We've all seen that loads of times throughout the years on different TV shows and stuff, right? It always just looks like a can of whipped cream's been put on a paper plate. Is that what it was?
It was shaving cream.
Oh,
like that you shave your face with. And I think there was a reason why we couldn't go with whipped cream. Maybe Zach had some sort of intolerance to dairy or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but that was actual shaving cream, which to me makes it 10 times worse, because if that went in his mouth, gross.
Or your eye, like that could aggravate it. My follow-up question was going to be, what does it taste like? But,
shaving cream. Not good.
Oh, dear.
Not good. But he took 3 at once.
Yeah.
Right? I think he got hit with 3 all at the
same
time.
It really stuck to him as well.
And
it makes sense now that it was shaving cream, yeah.
He was trying to like talk and look at people, but he couldn't see anything because it was just, his eyes were completely covered.
Yeah.
He committed. He didn't even try to wipe it off. He just sat there and continued I think he was debating whether or not to wipe it off. It took him a couple you could see him processing how he wanted to go about it all.
I think
it was like,
if he tried to wipe it, it might make it worse, right?
Potentially, yeah. He needed like a full towel or something like that.
But yeah, it was shaving cream. When I saw that it was actual shaving cream, I'm like, oh no, that's gonna be horrible.
That's not good for the mouth. Do not get it in the mouth.
But he did it. What a champ,
Yeah.
It was a good way to wrap it up, though. Nice little celebration at the end. I feel like there's still confetti in that office.
They'll probably find it for a little bit.
Everywhere.
A lot of mess.
Dude, I'll tell you, it felt horrible. Because we'll clean up as much as we could, but I still wanted to help more for things like cleaning up the confetti. They had the vacuum cleaners out already, but just want to do more than just kind of stack things up neatly. Can we throw things out for you? It just felt bad to kind of.
It did feel really bad because obviously we couldn't stay forever. We ended late. And so it was like 8:00 at night, and we're walking out the door and looking back and seeing people cleaning up the mess we left, and that felt bad.
Yeah,
we just put in a very long weekend, and we were spent, ready to go celebrate and rest.
And that was
finally.
Just when the bus was leaving, so we had to go.
Yeah. I mean, I remember waking up in the morning thinking, I bet they're still there cleaning. Like we made that much mess.
Apparently they were done pretty quickly. But it was just still wanted to help.
Yeah. They're definitely still finding
you know what?
to this day.
Yeah, dude, I found a Nerf gun bullet in my bag. It just it found its way in there. So I've got one as well, and it was not intentional to bring home, but I have one now. So they're everywhere.
The room that you guys room with all the computers, is that where the employees usually do all the coding of the game, or was it like a spare room type?
That was
thing?
a multi-purpose room.
Was it? Because there was that other room that they were actually in on the Friday, and there was actually people working in there, and that was the testing room. Right.
Yeah, it was testing room. Yeah, the one that we were in has a sign on it that said multi-purpose. So.
What do you think they were testing? Like the latest snapshot or something?
Well, features
they wouldn't let us go in there because it was
stuff,
spoilers. Man. It was you're not allowed to see what we're working on type thing. And there was people in there actively testing whatever version they were working on. So that would have been cool.
They're always doing new concepts. So they're probably doing some sneaky things.
Yeah. Yeah, they were working. Most of the office was gone though. They basically the Mojang company, they told the employees just stay home, don't come into work from home on Friday or whatever in the weekend.
Got them a day off.
And so so there was hardly anybody there.
Yeah,
it's
crazy. Very quiet.
It's just everywhere you go, there was just Minecraft everywhere. Every wall decorated with Minecraft. Every
you
room
think that was with Minecraft everywhere? Oh, you should see Sweden.
Sweden was worse. Not worse, but
Worse.
more.
Sweden, everything like in the Redmond office, like you could tell like there was corporate like all over the place. It was Minecraft in there, but it was still
It was
corporate.
still, you could still tell it was an office.
Yeah.
Like a
Sweden though, it
business
just felt like
office,
it
yeah.
felt like it was like a big Minecraft playground, you know? Like you had all the twisty stairs, you had big mobs everywhere, all the coloring, you had concept sketches on the walls of all the mobs, all kinds of things. Like it was just completely decked out with Minecraft everywhere. It did not feel corporate in pretty much any space. It just felt like they were having fun making a game. It was really cool.
Mhm. Well, we're gonna have to see more next year. We're gonna have to see more decorations. Actually, I mean, where Scar was, that room had a lot of cool stuff, and half the room didn't really get shown on stream because the equipment, was on one side of the room facing Scar, his battle station there. But remember, there was
Yeah,
like
they
the
didn't see
giant
the
bed,
bed.
the pig,
Yeah.
and all that stuff was in there. So there was a ton of stuff in there, but that was the main space that was fully decked out with
Yeah,
mobs and
that
stuff.
was a very cool room. The cloud lights and everything.
They had a coffee machine, which one of us broke. Remember?
You broke a coffee machine?
No, it wasn't me. I think
I didn't
it
know
wasn't
that
like
happened.
something we did wrong, but I think, was it Martin? Yeah, Martin. He went to use the coffee machine, and it just started spilling out everywhere. And he felt
Oh
terrible
my
about it.
gosh.
Yeah. poor
Okay,
guy.
so he made a mess with the coffee machine, and he also
Yeah.
put orange juice all over the place in the same area.
Yeah, he was.
Am I
throwing an
understanding that
orange
right?
and it blew up in the.
Oh man.
Yeah, Martin was tearing that place apart. Yeah, literally, Martin just pushed a button, and it just.
It just spilled
wasn't his
everywhere.
fault. Yeah, it just started spilling out the
Oh.
side.
That's the thing. When things
Oh,
break, it's like it was probably going to break before anyway, right?
You just happen to be the one.
Yeah. You just happen to be the guy who pressed the button.
Jimmy did the. Oh no, guys! It was both Martin and Jimmy with oranges. They both had oranges as the
Oh,
idea, I
did they
guess.
both?
Yeah, they both did.
I was
Jimmy was
sitting right
trying
there
to
when
bounce
that
oranges
thing's-
off a wall.
When that orange splattered all over Anthony, I was right there watching. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I didn't get to see that because I was too busy trying to do my own trick shot. Like what? How did?
Anthony was such a champ about it too. Like, it splattered all over him, and you could tell. He's like, "Come on," but like he was such good spirits about it.
Yeah,
He was a good guy. What a good guy.
Anthony's one of the chillest people I've met.
Yeah, he was awesome.
You guys are
And then he
both
joined us for the
streaming,
hot
right?
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, we're streaming. I need to stop streaming though because I'm always going for
Girl's
6
like
hours.
2 hours past when she usually ends.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't know how
was
you do
like,
it.
all right,
I'm allergic to a
fine.
computer, I think. Impulse, how
I'm
long
just,
are
I'm
you
just
going for?
enjoying chatting.
How much longer are you going for, Pro? I'm only going for
Oh.
like 10 more minutes. I got to stick to my schedule. I got lunch plans.
Oh.
I want to
know?
end pretty much now, so I want to go eat food. So
Oh, no.
yeah.
Don't
Well,
worry.
It's
It's usually
food-
time of
it's-
day.
it's food
Tango
time.
keep
pops
people
on.
entertained for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I'll send
What,
my
me?
people
I'll
your
be
way.
around for 10 more minutes. I'll be around for 10 more minutes.
I'm wrapping up as
Oh,
well,
you-
Pearl. Yeah.
Oh, we're
I
all
see,
wrapping up
I
at the
see.
same
Yeah, we're
time.
basically-
Okay, yeah,
basically.
you're right,
Oh,
Impulse, because
Tango's
gonna rate
delaying
Impulse too.
today as well. Okay.
oh
Send him
no,
over.
I'm
I'll
gonna
hang
go
out with
poke
him
him
for
and
a
tell him
few.
not to delay.
Yeah, tell him hurry up. Or
Okay,
Skiz.
I'm
Well,
gonna
Skiz
do
will
that.
be on
Okay,
early, too.
it was lovely chatting with you
All right,
both. I'll
chat.
see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to go finish my elevator.
That's
you.
fine.
Hanging
I
out.
should probably say
See you
goodbye.
guys.
Goodbye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, just had to say goodbye there. I'll send you over to Impulse. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And I will see you all Friday, possibly, with another stream. Anyway, take care, everyone.